Oh boy. Whew. That was quite the game. Bulls almost blew that. Uh Bulls have a lot of work to still do, I guess we can still say, but um hey, good job, I guess, closing this one out. I was dead sure that that Brunson shot was going in because that's a shot Brunson makes, and um that's also it's home court. So I'm like, oh, it's gonna go in. But it didn't go in. So Bulls survived. That was not a good performance in that last minutes of the third quarter into that fourth. But props to the Bulls for winning this. I had this as probably the Bulls' best game overall for the season. They looked really good tonight. And then suddenly Zach went out of the game, and all of a sudden the Knicks just really just were like, oh my god. So I you know, I don't know, Donovan might need to change the rotation to kind of keep the offense, more in rhythm, but my god, bro, that third quarter meltdown at the end, like 2:38 left remaining in the third, and suddenly the Knicks just go on an absolute run. So not happy about that, but happy that the Bulls pulled this one out, because that was not looking good at the end there. But yeah, a lot to talk about in this one. I have a lot to say, so get ready for some film breakdown, because I'm gonna just really quickly say I praised Donovan on Twitter. I'm praising Donovan here for that last play call, that lost drawn up play, and I think I've been critical of Donovan when it comes to, like, end of game plays where sideline out of bounds, draw it up, and I've been very critical of him. I've over the last 3 years, I've been extremely critical of his out of bounds plays, but so that was a very good play by Donovan. I think that was one hell of a play call. Lob option to Zach wasn't there. You bring Kobe off as a second option, and Kobe came off a good screen. He was clearly fouled. He knocks down the free throw, so I'm gonna give Donovan credit there. But unfortunately, and this is where I want to be clear to everybody, because this is I want to make this very clear to everyone, that the play calling under Billy Donovan, for whatever reason, in crunch time, it always seems to just mind boggle me that he never is like willing to run in isolation. Now, when we talk about when DeMar DeRozan was here, you're probably thinking, well, no, DeMar DeRozan isolated a lot when it was when Donovan was here and DeRozan was here, right? The problem is that what happened a lot in late game was that they were running the pick and roll. It was just very slow. And so you start to all of a sudden look at this and you're like, what happened? Like, that late game stuff for the Bulls where Zach is trying to run a pick and roll with Vooch, I want to make it clear, like, I don't want to pick and roll in late game. I want to try to get the matchup for Zach to get Brunson on him, just like how the Knicks got Patrick Williams to guard Brunson on 3 straight possessions. And I'm going to just roll with Zach isoing, and I'm just going to live with it. Like, yeah, he's going to make mistakes. Like, we saw the late game decision making from Zach wasn't great, like, especially on that turnover to P. Will. But at the end of the day, if that's an effective option, and for some reason, whenever it comes to crunch time, the Bulls keep running a pick and roll over and over and over again. And I'm just like, the Knicks are running an ISO, the Bulls are running a pick and roll. I'm aware Brunson is one hell of a player, and he's extremely good in isolation, but I've always said this, that like the isolation is a very good option, especially in crunch time, and the Bulls just don't seem willing to run it and try to seek out the mismatch and just let the person go, whether it is with Kobe or it is with Zach. Like, I don't care. Like, that should be the main option. And if it's not that, Zach's been nailing that post fadeaway like all season long. Like, from 15 feet, like, he's been nailing the post fadeaway Kobe shot like all season. So if there's ever a time to really run that play for Zach to get some crunch time shots that gets him a one-on-one matchup and gets him enough space to go up and shoot it, that's the time. And for some reason, the Bulls don't do that, and I don't understand why. Crunch time under Billy Donovan is a weird thing. I've watched Billy over the years with the Thunder. When it was the Paul George, Russell Westbrook, and Carmelo Anthony team, the Thunder would run the exact same play every single time in crunch time. Like, you can just know it's coming. And for the Bulls, it's very similar. They run a set play in crunch time, and it's always a pick and roll set with Vooch at the top of the key. Like it just bothers me. When you watch then, of course, the Knicks, or if you watch Steph Curry, do the night last night against the Mavericks, what the best teams do is they give the ball to their best player and they seek out the mismatch. Like Steph Curry was seeking out Derek Lively, and hence he got the mismatch, did the step back three over him, and night Mavericks, right? Tonight you see that the Knicks are actively seeking out Patrick Williams, and they're like, okay, Zach's guarding Brunson, we're gonna screen with Cat because the Bulls put Patrick Williams on Cat and they put Vooch on OG Anunoby. And so we're going to get the switch, and then we're just going to let Brunson isolate. We're just going to space the floor correctly and go. And with the Bulls, instead, it's a set play, it's a pick and roll, horn set, top of the key, and it bothers the crap out of me because it's like you're bringing two guys to the ball. I don't want to bring two guys to the ball because it's Vucevic and his man. If instead, let's just say that Brunson was guarding Io. How about instead, I bring Brunson up, Brunson's man, so let's just say Io in this case up to the ball. You try to get the switch up there. If they don't switch it and they both go to Zach, then you throw the ball to Io. Io should be open, right? But when Vooch is up there, it's like Vooch can't be a finisher in that spot. He's a passer, he's a hub. And the Bulls spacing, it's screwed because he's in the middle of the floor then. So then Cat is then there, like he's in the middle of the floor as the shot blocker. It just boggles my mind when I watch the Bulls in crunch time. But either way, the Bulls closed this one out. Props to them for closing this one out. Hell of a game from Zach. I mean, yeah, I understand the turnovers are still an issue with Zach, and that's always going to be a thing. But that first half from Zach was insane. He was absolutely lighting it up. I really like seeing that, and he hit that shot from the logo, and it was just like, oh my god, yeah, that was cool. Vucevic with another good game. I need to check the stats with Vucevic's post-up numbers because he's proving me wrong, so he's making me look like an idiot, and so props to him. His three-point shooting, I think, might be coming back down to earth, but his post-up is looking really good. He was destroying Cat all game, but it's also Karl-Anthony Towns who's not a good defender, so there's that. But yeah, I thought the Bulls overall in this one before the third quarter meltdown, I thought this was their best game all night. I think that this was by far their best game on both ends of the floor. They're pushing pace heavily. They were attacking the paint because the Knicks were giving up so many points in the paint in this game. The Bulls had 42 points in the paint before the third quarter ended. So that just shows you that the Knicks were just giving up everything in the paint. Their defense wasn't there tonight. Initially, at least, that is what I'm saying. Zach obviously got hot, and he completely sparked the Bulls in that first half, and hit some major shots in the third and fourth quarter, so props to him for that. And then props to Kobe for hitting those free throws at the end. He got fouled, big free throws, he hit all three, ice cold, sub-zero, so nice job from Kobe there. Pretty good game from Io too. I think this was probably a really good Io game, arguably his best game of the year, just in terms of overall effectiveness on the court. So, Bulls had 31 assists. They played fast. I want to check their fast break points because they had a decent chunk when I did check. Actually, they actually ended with 26. Okay, good. Yeah, I was about to say when I checked in the first half, they had 9. Yeah, so 26 fast break points. That's fantastic. That's a great game plan coming in because the Knicks played last night, and I think we saw the tired legs from the Knicks, but it wasn't until Tibbs went to that, his bench lineup where you put in McBride, you put in Payne, you put in Sims. Like that was the lineup that really got the spark for the Knicks, and then obviously Cat, kept them in the game for a long time, in that third quarter. So I think this is a really solid game plan coming in. I'm really happy that the Bulls kept pushing pace against the team that played last night, and obviously just keep pushing pace in general. They didn't attempt as many threes tonight. They only put up 36, but like I said earlier, they were dominating the paint today, so it didn't really matter. So they finished with 50. They went into the fourth quarter, I think, with 44. So it was overall a really good points in the paint game for them, until then the fourth quarter where the defense really turned up. So I can live with 36 threes attempted if you're going to give me 50 points in the paint as well as 27 free throws. We just know that the Bulls don't do that consistently. So this was obviously a really good thing for them tonight. Obviously, they're not going to go out and do that again. Bulls had 18 turnovers, 6 by Zach, so we're all aware of that. But even with the turnovers, they won this game. So I keep saying that I can live with turnovers, especially ones that are all about pushing in transition, as long as you keep pushing the ball. If you keep pushing the ball and you turn it over, fine. And I think I'm happy the Bulls keep pushing it. So it's a really good sign that they're still pushing the ball. Appreciate y'all being here. I want just big shout out to you guys. Thank you all for being here and supporting me all season. It's been a lot of fun coming into stream after these Bulls games, so I really do appreciate all the support. So let's have some fun tonight as the Bulls barely pull this one out. So yeah, I'm really happy about it. Okay, let's see here. So on Viper Strike. Honestly, I care if we won or lost because our young guys played well, but glad we win. Yeah, I think it's overall pretty good. When our Matas did, the team looks so much worse. I disagree. I think Matas played really well in the first half. Razi, I'm just gonna disagree with you there. Not too sad about that run. Home court advantage is a real thing. I'm just upset about it because I think the Bulls in that little like 2.5 minute run where the Knicks went on that long run. I think the Bulls just kind of got away with what's been working all season, right? They stopped shooting the 3-ball. The offense completely died. And like everything that the Bulls have been trying to do this year, it's like it reverted back to when DeRozan was here, right? That's not what I want to see. If things are going wrong, you got to stick to your guns. And the Bulls in the fourth quarter, when things started to kind of go bad in the fourth as well, like we saw them stick to their guns. They shot the 3 when they were open. Dalen Terry hit a ginormous 3. Julian Phillips hit a big 3 in the corner, right? Like you got to stick to your identity even in the bad moments. And I was just upset that like if the Bulls are just missing their shots and like it is what it is. Like if they're taking the correct shots, they're still pushing pace. I can live with them going on a serious drought. Like I'm fine with that. But it just that fourth quarter, it wasn't necessarily like horrible defense or anything. It was just that they just stopped playing offense. They just stopped moving the ball. They stopped looking for the 3-point shot. Everything was all slow. We saw a possession where Kobe was only touched the ball. Like that was just the part I was upset about. Like if the offense is that bad, like I can't live with it. Like, even if like you make the shot, like, I'm upset. The Bulls have to stick to their identity even in the bad moments. So like a lot of people are always like blaming Billy because like this does happen with Billy a lot, like blown leads. But like I do think that the players also, just because they're young, like they just gotta learn, so yeah, especially MSG. Oh yeah, it is MSG. Like again though, I do think that Tibbs going to the bench guys, the guys who didn't play as much last night, like kind of helped them. But yeah, I understand home court advantage is a real thing, and it got the Knicks back into the game. And it's big, but it's still dog. I just want the Bulls to stick to what they're supposed to stick with and keep running what's been working well all year. Missed third quarter, I stepped away for a few minutes, came back to single digit lead. Yeah, so that the third quarter was going great, and then Zach checked out with I think it was a 16-point lead for the team, and suddenly it was immediately cut into single digits, like very quickly, and then Badama had to call another timeout after he called a timeout earlier. So it's just frustrating just to kind of see that, and I'm upset about it because they got away from what they're supposed to be doing, and that's the only reason I'm upset about it. Like if they just miss shots, it is what it is. But they stopped playing the way they're supposed to. We are so back. I don't know if we're so back, but this was, I think, overall, through the first, let's just say 30 minutes. Or let's say 32 minutes. I think this was easily the best Bulls performance in the first 32 minutes of the game. Like they were leading after the first quarter, they were leading into halftime, which is not something you usually see. And they extended their lead out of halftime. Like this was easily, in my opinion, the Bulls' best 32 minutes played in the first 32 minutes played in the game. It just then obviously the third quarter meltdown happened, and suddenly you're in a crunch time game. So I'm just a little ticked off about that whole thing. Phil Matas actually played good tonight, but he is a risky hit or miss. He is, but that's a rookie. I want Matas to play. I thought he played all right tonight. I know he's missing his shots, but I thought that defensively he looked pretty good. He was moving his feet. He blocked Josh Hart on that really good block. Like that's really good. I'm happy to see it. Yeah, I'm aware he's missing his shots, but I can live with missed shots. I just care if you're actively playing good defense, and for someone like him, obviously. And then, are you within the flow of the offense? I think he was. I think he was pushing pace. Like, he looked really solid. Obviously, again, he was sort of in the lineup in the third quarter meltdown, but so was a lot of other people. It wasn't necessarily just him. Gameplay's been so much better this year, though. Donovan's taken too much criticism this year, in my opinion. Here's the thing. I've given Donovan his praise. Like, I've been willing to give Donovan his praise. The two areas that I've been critical of him have been he hasn't played Buzelis enough, in my opinion. And then, you know, I guess it's part. I do blame the players a lot, but the defense has, in my opinion, been. I mostly blame the players, but I guess it's partially on him. The defense this year has just been way too bad. And that's like partially on him, but it's I think it's more so on the players. But the Bulls are missing the easy defensive protocols, and I've been upset about it. But that's not necessarily about him. But I've been giving him his praise. Like, I've been saying that the pace is great, the 3-point shots are great, the offense is a lot better. Everything looks a lot better. I've even given him his praise in the late game situations. I've been heavily critical of him over the years about his play calling or his drawn up plays, and these have been a lot better this year, including tonight, where that lob option to Zach wasn't there, and then Kobe comes off the screen and Kobe got fouled. Like, that's a great drawn up play. I'm just still, I guess I'm just critical now of how the late game crunch time. This was honestly probably like the first time where the Bulls are in like a tough matchup and it's like late game crunch time and we see what happens. And it wasn't like, I mean, Zach obviously was like on a heater tonight overall, but Zach didn't go on a run like he did in the Cavs game, right, where he scored 9 straight in the fourth. So and he was basically getting to the bucket at will. So if that's the case, right, then you got to run the right plays in crunch time. You got to, in my opinion, the best play is to give the ball to your best player's hands, seek out a mismatch, and let him ISO. That's, everyone runs it nowadays, so I think the Bulls should also copy that. But yeah, I won't be as critical of Donovan overall for his coaching job this year. I think overall this year he's been a major positive. But I'm still going to point out a few things that I'm upset about. Bulls had a few hot hands tonight that are unusual, like Pat deserves his flowers tonight. Yeah, that's actually a good call, Charles, because Pat started the game with probably his best starting performance of his entire career. He put up 11 points in a quick 6 minutes, and he had 4 free throw attempts, which were his only 4 of the game, but I appreciate those free throw attempts. He had 11 points in 6 minutes with 4 free throw attempts. That is by far the best start he could have ever had. It's either in a very long time or in his career. 18 points tonight, obviously 6 of 9 shooting with 6 rebounds. Pretty solid overall. I'll talk about the mismatch stuff later, but yeah, this is really solid from Pat. So you could say now, like, this is probably like really like 2 really solid games from Pat in a row. So now let's make it 5, right? I've said it, like, I can't have you have one good game and then not good the next game. So now that it's 2 games in a row, now I'm like, let's make it 5. I know you're not going to have a great game every game, but I need to see at least some form of consistency from him. So I'm happy to see this. Hopefully, maybe he's getting his conditioning back. I'm still a little bit worried about his verticality. I don't think it looks exactly perfect at the moment, or like what it used to be, but yeah, shout out to Pat. This is looking a lot better from obviously early in the year, where it was looking pretty rough. Honestly, enjoyed the game. I did too. I enjoyed this game a lot. This is the reason why I watch NBA. Like, no lead is safe. This is fun. Even though I'm a Bulls fan, like, it's still entertaining at the end of the day. We're going for the 7th ring. Yeah, definitely. Rush bad for both sides. I think the officials were overall pretty garbage, and I've been saying that the officials the past week or so have been pretty bad too. Don't know why. I guess it's just that time of the year, right? We get into November and the officials start to suck again. To be fair, Vucevic's never done anything in the post before this year. I've seen him hit the dream shake like 8 times this year. Did he pay for this game? Like, I don't know, bro. I'm actually interested right now. I don't know if it's going to be updated, but like, this has been the best I've seen Vooch in the post in his entire career, actually. Like, even in Orlando, he didn't have good numbers from the post. Like, it wasn't great. So the fact that he's suddenly like, now granted it is against Karl-Anthony Towns, I do want to make that clear. And Cat's not someone that's gonna like stop anybody in the post, but this has obviously been much improved from him. So I'm hoping that this continues. That's an isolation. Whoops. Let's go to post up. Let's go here. So let's see. All right. Yeah. So this is better from Vooch, right? I don't know. So this still only says 11. So this does not count tonight's game, but this is like Jokic levels numbers. Like you can see, like Jokic right now is not at his normal in terms of his post up points per game. Vucevic basically kind of took what Jokic was doing last year, right, in terms of post up efficiency. So right now, Vooch right now in the post is at 90 in the 92nd percentile or 91st percentile. This is something that I was not expecting at all, because I've been extremely critical of it in the post, because Vooch over the years has just been bad in the post. If you're wondering, last year, Vooch averaged 0.9 points per possession in the post. Like, similar possessions per game. Okay, like 3.1 possessions per game, or what NBA counts as 3.1, and this year it's 3.1. It's the exact same amount of possessions per game. He's just been hyper, like, you can say 3 times more efficient. Like, this is, if you're gonna do this, then yeah, I'll give you the ball in the post. But for the past, years, like, he hasn't. Like, obviously this year was 0.9 points per possession in the post. That's awful. I'm not going to give you the ball. This year was a little bit better, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, so it was 1.05, but that's still not enough. Like, I need you to be better. Like, you can still see, like, I know it doesn't sound like a lot, but, like, 1.05 is the 69th percentile. Joel Embiid is 1.13, but he's in the 84th percentile, okay? But we can just keep going down the years. Like, it's not like it gets any better. Like, this is 0.87. Like, Vooch was never really that good of a post-up player in his entire career. Like, I know that Stacey King loves to say it, but, like, it's not like he's been great. So if this would by far be his best post-up year, if he finishes right now with 1.26 points per possession in the post, that would by far be his best year in his career in the post. So I just always like to point this out, because, like, again, here, like, 0.82. Like, he's never been this good, but yet Stacey King keeps saying, oh, the Bulls are posting him up more, the Bulls are using him better. Like, no, he's not. The Bulls aren't doing anything really that different. He's just been better. He's just making shots, right? And I'm happy he's doing it, because, like, first and foremost, he needs to show to the world that he's still a starting level caliber player, which I think he's doing. But obviously, if we can somehow trade him, it would be fantastic. Hopefully that does come to fruition. I have my doubts still, but I'm hoping that does continue. I saw you, Razi, ask about the 3-point percentage from Giddey. Let's see. I don't know if this is gonna count. Okay, it does count tonight's game. So far it's at 42.5%. I do like to always say, though, it's only three attempts per game. So that is always the biggest caveat, is that yeah, he's a 42% 3-point shooter currently, but if you don't put up, like, good volume, then I'm not really gonna respect it. He hit that step back 3 over Cat, which was really cool to see. So I hope this continues, because I can really see a role for Giddey if he's not being, like, the main ball handler, which right now he really isn't. That he's going to come in and he can be, like, a really effective role player, especially with his size. But his 3-point shooting has to continue this way, which I just don't know if it will. I'm not saying it needs to be 40%. I just need it to be, 35% or higher on more volume. So hoping this continues. This is yet another game, though, where Giddey did not close. I think it's been kind of clear that Donovan doesn't really trust him in the closing lineups due to his lack of defense. So interesting to see how that's going to keep moving forward, or kind of happen, like how it's going to work out moving forward, because this was one of my predictions. Like, I said that Giddey will always start, but don't know if he's going to close every game. And already we're seeing Ios back in the closing lineup. I showed aggression early on. I kept going for almost one half. He did. Yeah. Yeah. This is obviously the best I think Pat has played all season. So I'm just hoping this continues. Like, I know Pat missed that 3, and people were like, "Oh my God, Pat missed another big 3." I'm just happy he took it, man. I'm just happy that Pat was willing to shoot that 3 ball with confidence. Yeah, I can live with misses, man. If you're just making the right decision, I can live with misses. And I'm happy. Bulls was he switched on D through tonight again, like last game, which was smoother and better D, giving more fast breaks transition. I think tonight, obviously, through the first 30 minutes, it looked really good, right? Also, the Bulls' hands were just a lot better. The Bulls had 10 steals tonight, so you can just see they had really active hands tonight, and I just appreciated that. I even tweeted it like, "Hey, this is really good from the Bulls, that they're active hands, better communication overall." And then, of course, the meltdown happened, but so I appreciate the effort, and I just want to just see that defensive protocol bare minimum just played every night. I'm not expecting great defense. Even tonight, like the Bulls give 123 points. That's not good. But I just need to just see them at least just play normal defense and not just give up everything. So yeah, I appreciate the effort. Hopefully this continues. Best blast to watch this game at a bar. Oh, I'm sure that people at the bar would have loved this. 8 points makes sense in playing a tired cat at center. Yeah, it makes sense. What's going on MC season? It's been a while. What have we gone over so far? Just talking over the game pretty much. Obviously the good performances. I think Levine, Williams, Vucevic, and White and Io all deserve shout outs for really having great games. So I really do. I think they all deserve the big praise tonight, and Bulls barely squeaked this one out. Went over talking about the late game decision making, I guess, in terms of play calling from Donovan. I was just a little critical of. I think the last play call was great by Donovan. I think he drew up a really good play where Kobe got fouled. I think that was a great play. Like, even if Kobe didn't get fouled and he still took the shot and missed it or whatever, like, I think that's a great play. That was a good look for Kobe. I like the options, and obviously he used Giddey as the sideline out of bounds passer because that's his best trait, right? So I liked it all. I liked that by Donovan, but the play calling, and just in my opinion in late game, just needs to get a lot better. I've been saying that I think posting up a dude, especially like Zach late game, would be a good idea. Like we saw tonight when the Bulls were putting the ball in Zach's hands, run the pick and roll, which I don't want them to do with Vooch in late game. They, like, Zach was, either turning it over or he even had that pass out to Io, which that wasn't even that wasn't even a Vooch pick and roll, but that was a slip screen by Kobe, so like there wasn't even a switch on it, and so Zach didn't get the mismatch, and so he drove on Mikal Bridges. And the Bulls were poorly spaced. Like, yeah, like late crunch time is a different game, and so I was just like going over critical of how the Bulls played crunch time, but they pulled it out. So props to the Bulls for pulling this one out. By DT hitting the shot was nasty. Yeah, Daniel Terry hit that humongous 3 off the offensive rebound, but that was just going back to my point though, where the Bulls had the meltdown because they just got away from what they're supposed to do. Like, they're supposed to shoot 3, they're supposed to play fast, move the ball, and they got away from it, right? And I do think, seeing Dalen Terry shoot that with full confidence is great, and hopefully we see more of that. Pat's first step ahead looks so much improved this year. When he looks like he knows what he wants to do, makes a big difference. So Razi, I actually disagree with both. I think Pat's first step overall this year has looked a lot slower than usual. I think tonight obviously looked a lot better, but I think overall Pat's first step this year has been a lot slower. I also think his handles this year don't look any improved. I really don't. Like, I think Pat overall has had some serious issues in terms of his first step and his handling this year. But the one thing that I will say that Pat has sort of adjusted, I guess I'll say, is that I do think now he's understanding that he really shouldn't be the guy dribbling as much, and so you're seeing that he's setting himself up, and the Bulls are setting him up to finish plays instead of trying to create plays, right? So whether that's running a fast break and shooting a layup, or just shooting the catch and shoot 3 as often as possible, that's good, right? And so we saw it a lot tonight where Pat, just took the catch and shoot 3. Even if it was contested, he just took it. That's where I want to see more from Pat, right? I'm fine if he, fakes it and drives hard to the basket, 2 dribbles and just go hard to the rim, which he did also tonight. But in terms of, you know, handling, like, he's dribbled off his foot many times already this year. So I don't really think his handles have gotten better, and I don't think his first step quickness overall throughout the season has been better. I think tonight his first step looked a lot better than it did in the first, through preseason into the first 10 games. Like, I think tonight was the quickest first step he's had in all season long. So I was going to disagree with you there, Rozzy. I think that this is, tonight is a good step in the right direction. Now it's just, can he keep up with it? Because I don't know. Like, I've been saying this about Pat. Like, he looks good one game, and then the next game doesn't look great. So it's 2 games in a row. He's looked pretty solid now. So now it's about, can he go do 5 games in a row? It's pretty harsh of me, but, like, this is kind of it. It's like, you're a starter. You got to show consistency. I'm not expecting a great game from you every night, but I need to see at least some form of consistency. So when you do have an off night, it's like, it's okay. Zach back to the Magic. I did see that trade. We're going to talk about that trade, actually. That trade's an interesting trade, isn't it? I'm interested to see if how Magic fans would like that. I don't know how about I don't really know about the fit though. Like the trade by Bleacher Report that sends Zach to the Magic is interesting. We'll talk about it. You can see the coaching tonight really, but Giddey's confidence in a few moments he took him off. He barely got a green light to shoot or do much. You can see his face that feels early game hit. I'm trying to figure out your syntax, Charles, but I do agree that maybe Giddey's confidence in some moments looked pretty shot, but let's just also be real. Giddey also had some moments defensively tonight that looked pretty bad, and so I'm not shocked that he didn't close this game. This is where I've been saying with Giddey that I'm just critical of, like, he's had some nice games this year, so it's like I don't want to be like, wow, Giddey hater, but tonight, like, he made that 1-3, which was cool, but he shot 1 of 3. I thought he turned down some threes tonight, and he missed 2 layups early in the game, and that he needs to make, right? So you get this performance where it's 5 points, 2 of 7 from the field with 6 assists, which is nice. I'm aware Giddey's passing is a very valuable trait because it really helps everyone else, but this is just kind of where we're always just kind of looking at Giddey of just like, I don't really know what you are still. This is kind of the reason why. He's not closing games suddenly. His defense has obviously been suspect over the years, but that's not new. And so is this 3-point shot actually great? Or is it, just a nice little run here? So I'm hoping that his 3-point shot continues because that's going to give him floor time. If it doesn't, though, then Donovan, I honestly think Donovan's not going to be hesitant just to get rid of Giddey's minutes, like, quickly. So we'll see. I still think he's going to start every single game, but yeah, I don't know. It'll be interesting to watch. Came and drop a like, please. Everyone drop a like. It's free. I appreciate the over. Yeah, if you guys have not already hit the like button on the stream, please do. Helps me out a lot. Appreciate all the support, guys. Let's see here. Sorry, I'm trying to. God, hold on. There we go. Appreciate all the likes, and we've already had 40 people checking in on the stream tonight, so I appreciate everyone checking in. I've turned off ads for the moment, so you guys won't be getting ads for the moment. I can't keep it off the entire stream, but no ads for the moment right now. See how Matz's played both offensively and defensively, gave me a little hope. Yeah, it's interesting, Tyler, because Rozzy said that he thought that when Buzelis was on the floor, the Bulls looked really rough. I thought Buzelis looked fine. Like, I'm aware, again, he's missing his shots, but I think defensively he looked really good. His block shot on Josh Hart looked really good. I think he's pushing pace, and I appreciate that. The dunk was obviously awesome. I'm aware, again, he's missing his shots. I'm aware of it, but I thought he moved really well today. I appreciated his effort. That doesn't look great in the box score, of course, but I think that this is a good step in the right direction. And so I just hope he just gets these minutes. Like, this is all I'm asking for from Donovan, by the way. Like, 12 minutes a game. Like, I'd be very happy if Buzelis got 12 minutes a game. I'd be great. Like, I wouldn't complain a bit. Like, even if he got 10, I wouldn't be complaining. But I know that Donovan's been, really critical of him. So he's been cutting his minutes. So Buzelis is kind of basically playing for his his playing time every single time he goes on the floor. So hopefully Billy doesn't just look at it like, oh, we missed 5 shots and you're not going to play next game. So I think a source annoys me is Kobe does literally the same early game and shoots roughly 20% to start, and then Billy watches it and just keep on playing. Well, I think the problem with, like, I understand what you're saying, Charles, but with Kobe is that he's shown that he can go out and score 20 a night, and he's a good 3-point shooter, like, no matter what. Like, we know he's going to be good. Like, I know if I had to bet on who's going to make more threes, I'm going to bet that Kobe White makes more threes than Josh Giddey, right? And then Kobe, obviously, it's just that he's been initiating a lot of the offense. So I'm aware Giddey has been doing some of that this year, but I think Donovan just trusts Kobe more. And I think that Donovan's just going to be trusting Kobe's defensive effort, I guess, more than Giddey at the moment. Not saying Kobe's a good defender. I don't think he is, but I think that Donovan's going to take his effort, I guess, more than Giddey's. So, I mean, look, man, this is kind of just what I was saying, like, what's going to happen coming into the year. Like, I don't know what Giddey's role is really going to be. His usage percentage keeps going down, I think. Like, it's going to be interesting to watch. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting to keep in mind. Then game misses a shot, and before momentum hits, he's not even closing minutes. Well, I mean, I think Diamond has just looked at this as just like, okay, well, unless he's hitting his threes, like, really, how valuable is he? Like, I'm just pointing it out there. Because I'm aware of the passing. I'm aware that he's a pretty decent rebounder, but, like, if you're not going to be a guy that's going to be able to go and hit a shot that, is created for you, or is you create yourself, like, you're not going to defend. It's rough. It's rough. Like, this is kind of what I've been saying with Giddey. Like, I don't know what sort of player he's really going to be, and why his lack of finishing at the rim is always going to make me critical of him. So it really just depends, man. It's on the 3-point shot. Last stupid. Did I agree? Yeah. So we also send people Sky report. He gets double a second only Zach. Yeah, I mean, Kobe's just a better ball handler overall. Kobe and Giddey are about the same level of players overall, though. Giddey knows Kobe, but any scouting would show Giddey's the same as Kobe, and Giddey gets better as the game goes on with time, so taking that away at least bad stats. But, I mean, here's the thing, though. Giddey got some shots early. Like, I'm aware of what you're saying. Like, he's not getting as many shots as Kobe, because Kobe's playing more minutes, and Kobe's being able to shoot later in the game. But, like, it's not like Giddey's not playing in the second half. He's getting time in the second half. He's just missing his opportunities right now. He's not showing, like, I could be an effective scorer in these opportunities when Zach's not on the floor. And obviously his defense is just suspect. So here we are again. Like, we're having this discussion again of, like, I mean, if I'm going to be real, if I'm Donovan, I'm doing the same thing. Like, I'm putting Ayo in, especially if Ayo's having a good game, because I need Ayo's defense out there, and I know that he can comfortably make shots at the rim, and I know that I mean, we'll see about his 3-point shooting, later on in the year, but right now I'm going to trust him. So, like, it's rough. It comes down to shot making in this league, especially if you don't play defense. So, I don't know. Like, if I'm Donovan, I'm making the same decision. I know that you probably disagree, Charles, but I would agree with what Donovan did tonight. And I agree with what Donovan did the past 3 games, honestly. Of course, Giddey think he's higher student. Only that develops shots. There's making moments that would take any rhythm, but that was also when the meltdown was happening, right? Like, Donovan did the same thing to Buzelis. Like, he took Buzelis immediately out, and he took Dalen Terry out too. Like, that's how it goes. Like, if you're out there and you're not actively helping, and it's a meltdown going on, like, you're gonna get switched out. Like, this happened against the Cavs against the Hawks, where he took 3 guys out immediately after a bad start to the half. Like, it's just that's what's gonna happen. And I'm aware that some guys stayed in and some guys didn't, but he picks and chooses. Yeah, I do agree. Like, I don't think Giddey necessarily, like, in those like little 2-minute bursts that he's out there, didn't really have a lot of time necessarily where it's like the meltdown happened and he came in early in the fourth quarter and, you know, another 2-minute burst. And then he then played like an okay amount before he got checked out for the finale of the game. But yeah, I mean, it's just, that's how it kind of goes though. Like, you gotta take advantage of your opportunities, man. Like, we say this all the time with Buzelis, we say it all the time with Pat. Like, why does this apply to Giddey? you gotta take advantage. Like, I'm just gonna say it. Like, I don't think Giddey has gotten to the point where he deserves special treatment from anybody, right?
All season long on a variety of networks.
I apologize about the ad. I'm so sorry. I did not know that I was playing. Hold on. Why did the ad start? That I have ad block on. That should not be happening. I apologize. So yeah. Yeah, I don't really think any of these players besides Zach, and I guess you could also maybe put Vooch in this category right now. Like, just because they're not playing amazing, like, that doesn't mean you're guaranteed anything. Like, I mean, we've seen it this year already with Kobe. Like, Kobe got taken out in that Hawks game where they came out in that second half and the defense was poor, and I think Kobe was a part of that issue, and so Donovan just replaced him immediately. We've also seen some times where Kobe just doesn't have it, and Donovan has pulled him early in like the first half. Like that. Excuse me, sorry about the sneeze. But like, I don't think anyone really necessarily deserves like special treatment right now. Donovan has his people that he's gonna go and trust more. But if you're just not playing well, like, you're just gonna get pulled. Especially if you're not playing well defensively at all, or like if you're just, I guess more so I should say, like, if you're being a real traffic cone out there, you're gonna get pulled. LaVine obviously has been a 2-time All-Star and is very clearly the best player on the team. And Vooch, I think this year has shown that he's been really good. But also the Bulls are just limited at center, so it's like, who else are they gonna really go to? Especially with Jalen Smith just getting back tonight, as he missed the game due to illness. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm just saying that I don't think really anyone deserves like special treatment right now, especially for a young team. Yeah. So, I say that, but then I also say that Buzelis deserves 12 minutes of the game. So, I'm being a hypocrite, but I do think that no one really deserves special treatment. At the end of the day, unless it's, I guess, the two vets, which I think Donovan has shown, like, he's trusting these two guys the most at the moment, over anybody. Like, it doesn't, like, even like not even Kobe is getting the same amount of level of respect from Donovan compared to LaVine and Vooch at the moment. So yeah, I don't know. This is yet again the reason, like, I knew we are gonna be talking about Giddey all year long, and so like I'm prepared for it. It's just that I've told people though, when this is the sort of game though where I get concerned with him, because the ball wasn't really in his hands a lot. Like, yeah, he had 6 assists, but like a lot of it was just like transition stuff and making the correct pass. Like, he's not creating these assists. Like, this is a lot of just like, hey, find the open man, which, props to him for doing so. But if he's not shooting the 3 ball, not obviously isn't a good defender, he's missing shots at the rim, like, here we go again. We're having the same conversation over again. It's the same thing again. Like, what is Josh Giddey? Yeah, he has to, like, if this finishing isn't gonna get any better, because I don't think it will. He's not gonna suddenly jump higher next season. Yeah, it's gonna come down to, you better be shooting that 3 ball with full confidence, and you better be willing to take it. Giddey has been, like, at moments he has been hesitant to shoot it, and I lose my mind sometimes, because I think him and Vooch still kind of do it, where they hesitate to shoot the 3 ball when I think they need to. It's just not in their DNA, I guess. But Giddey's got to shoot that 3 ball. Like, if there's anything that showed Donovan this year that, like, hey, I deserve to be out there, it's to shoot the 3 ball when you're open, especially when it's in rhythm. And obviously, if you knock it down, it's even better. But I think right now, Donovan's just kind of willing to he's willing to live with you even if you're missing the three. You just have to be playing in rhythm and taking the correct shot. If you're open, you better be willing to shoot it. And with Giddey, like he's still turning it down. And again, like unless magically his finishing gets like 10 times better, I don't know what we're looking at still. Giddey has done, I think, overall this year, when the Bulls have played smaller teams, like for example Atlanta, and I guess partially against Cleveland too. Giddey has taken advantage of his size against those teams. Like he has done a good job of using his size to, get an advantage and finish over those guys. Tonight, though, obviously, I mean, like Cat is obviously not the greatest defender in the world, but he is still bigger. But the bigger thing is that you have OG Anunoby and Mikal Bridges out there too. So you have like two elite wing defenders as well as Josh Hart being there. I know Brunson's on the floor, but the 2 through 4 for the Knicks is really good defensively, starting lineup. And then I missed. No, I guess that's honestly it. So like I think it's just in these sort of games where Giddey can't like use his height to his advantage for whoever's initially guarding him. Like it's harder. And it's not like Jalen Brunson's gonna always be on him at the end of the day. So yeah, we're gonna just continue discussing it because this is kind of the reason why I'm just always concerned. I think Giddey's 3-point shooting has so far proven me wrong, but I've said with all other players, give it 25 games and we'll see where he's at. So right now, he's shooting 42% from 3 on 3.3 attempts per game. That's nice. I'm glad he's shooting 42% from 3 instead of him shooting 33% from 3. But it's not like I'm suddenly, oh yeah, he's a great shooter now. I don't have that yet. I hope it continues. Right now, I will say this is the most faith I've had in his 3-point shot in his entire career, so I hope this continues. So honestly, like this is where I'm just kind of getting critical of Giddey. It's just like when he turns down those 3-point shots, I'm just like, why? Like you're not going to finish because we've seen that you're not finishing. So how about you just shoot the 3 ball, and we'll see if it goes down or not because you've been hitting it pretty well this year so far. So like shoot it. I'm interested really quickly just because I do want to see this. Sorry, I'm pulling up more stats here. I do apologize. I don't know exactly how many, or if it's the stats are in yet, but I do want to look at. No, that's not usage percentage. Hold on, sorry. Sorry, okay, here's usage. There you go. Really quickly, I just want to check usage percentage. It's not perfect again, but I do want to say Giddey's usage percentage has been going down recently. Like you're really seeing right now that Donovan's been trusting. It's like who's initiating kind of everything in the offense. It's been mostly Kobe, Ayo, and Zach. It hasn't really been Giddey as much. Yeah, so here we are. So right now, like Zach obviously is the most used right now, or has been used the most in terms of in terms of being involved in everything. So he's about, let's just say 25% for Zach. Kobe's at 23%, and Vooch is 21%, with Giddey tied alongside him. Now, if you looked at this about 2 games ago, I think Kobe and Giddey were pretty much the same. Like it was like 23% for Kobe, and then it was like 22.9 or something like that for Giddey. So like it was pretty relatively the same. And then obviously Zach's still leading. Now, and for Zach, by the way, like this is still a very low usage percentage, even though that's gone up for him recently. But that's a pretty low amount for him. So it shows that the ball is being spread around. Like if you're wondering how this is being really worked out for the Bulls, like Ayo's usage percentage is down here at 16.7, but the ball's been spread. Like the ball's been passed around. Everyone's sharing the ball. Everyone's taking their shots. Like Zach only took 17 shots tonight, even though he had 31 points. So like you're seeing that there is good just overall spread of wealth. But now you're starting to kind of see that maybe Donovan is really only trusting Levine and Kobe to be kind of like your main initiators of the offense. And you're really seeing, like, especially in like crucial possessions, that Giddey is just kind of going and standing in the corner, or he's being used as an off-ball option. The other thing we did see today, which I will show you, is when Zach was getting doubled and Giddey was being used as the roll man. That's not a bad decision, in my opinion. I think that's actually a really decent idea. But I don't know how long, like, it's not like Zach's gonna get double like that every single game. It's a Tom Thibodeau defense tonight. So, yeah, it's gonna be interesting to kind of look at. Jason Tall, Ricky Rubio, a star that isn't a star. I mean, that's still, in my opinion, that's a big thing to say, because I don't know if he is that sort of starter. He looks like he's developing as he should be at 22, as he currently is. Like, I don't want to say Giddey is like Cheeks in a sense. Like, I don't say it like that. I just am saying, though, like, right now, in my opinion, the way that with his inconsistency and we don't know what we're getting from him every game. Like, I don't, besides his good passing and pretty good rebounding, like, I don't know what I'm getting in terms of what shots he's gonna make, right? But this is where I'm saying that I think that he is sort of like a fringe starter at the moment. I don't know if he's worthy of being in the starting lineup, but I think he will be in the starting lineup every single game, because the Bulls need to get a good look at him because they have to pay him. But tonight's like one of those nights. 28 minutes, 5 points. That's kind of where we start yelling, like, man, that's like a Patrick Williams stat line where P. Will doesn't really do anything for 30 minutes, and Giddey doesn't play defense. So where are we? Usually at the moment this game, he just dribbled up court. Immediately he was told to pass to Zach flat, no switch. Yeah, because that's what Donovan has been looking at, and and he thinks that the offense is better run through these two guys. Which I mean, I'm being real. I don't know if I can really blame him. Really quickly, just so, like, if you're wondering, like, what does Giddey actually bring then? Like, because, like, again, like, I don't want to really quick. I just to show you, like, I'm aware of his good games this year. Okay, like, he's had good games. So just so, like, you're not like, oh my god, he's really gonna be hitting on Giddey yet again. I'm not trying to be this way. I'm just pointing things out. So look, okay, he had 18 against Cleveland. This is overall a really solid game from him. Right, he took advantage of the smaller backcourt, and the Cavs even went pretty small when they took out both Mobley and Allen. He did pretty good. He didn't finish this game, but in these minutes he gave a really solid effort. Like, this was really solid. He made his shots at the basket, and obviously he passed it really well with good rebounding. Cool. The next game, 13 points in 25 minutes. That's overall, that's okay. 7 assists is nice to see. Again, though, it's not. I want to make it clear. It's not like it's Nikola Jokic type assist. It's more so Draymond Green type assist. Okay. So there's that. Then you see, like, the 9, 13, and 6 game, which it's like that's like a nice thing to look at. Like, you're looking at 9 and 13. But overall, though, let's be real. I don't really care about those 13 assists if you're gonna go 3 or 12 from the field. It's nice that you're a pass first point guard or a pass first player, but that wasn't like a great game from him. That's 3 of 12 from the field shooting. That's not good. 3 and 9 the next game, which is that's very meh, right? And then we're getting into more of his good games, I would say. Against Utah, it was even I won't even count the Utah game. Utah, like, he got some points near the end, but it wasn't exactly like the greatest performance in the world. Brooklyn, he had his struggles of shooting. He couldn't hit a shot. And then Orlando, that game is where he turned into Steph Curry at 4 for 4 from 3-point range. And I would say that early on, like, when he was shooting really good, like, you're looking at his stats and you're like, okay, like, this is better. Especially like in that Memphis game where he was, a big part of them coming back. Like, he played an active role. He played good defense in that Memphis game. And he was, getting offensive rebounds consistently and helping the Bulls win in that game, right? Once again, though, does that happen every game? No, it doesn't. That was just in that one game. In Orlando, he hit all of his threes. And teams were legitimately scared of him shooting that ball. So he had 20 points. So that's effective, right? But some of these other games where he's not hitting his shots and he's not like actively offensive rebounding, and obviously he isn't playing defense because that's not consistent. Like, what are you looking at? You're looking at like an okay player, which on a lot of teams I don't know if they're a starter. I think on some teams they are, and some teams they aren't. Obviously the Bulls, at least what I think, they're not supposed to be amazing this year. Now they're 5-7. And the Eastern Conference is absolute crap right now, so they look pretty good. But it's kind of how we've been looking at things with Giddey. It's getting to go back and forth every game. So yeah, I legit say I think that the 3-point shot, it's gonna come down to it. He needs to hit the three. He has to hit the 3 ball at like a really good rate. And if he has that in his arsenal, then we can start talking about him. If he's not going to be the main guy in this offense, which he was begging the Bulls to do this year, right? He came to the Bulls asking, can I be the main guy? Can I run the offense? Can I be the point guard? And right now, the Bulls have kind of already taken him out of that role already. So with that being said, now what? If you hit the 3-point shot, I think you can have like a really like an active role in the offense. I think that you being a 3-point threat with your good passing can be a valuable trait. I think that's interesting to look at, and we'll see what he can become. If you're not gonna hit the 3-point shot though on better volume, right? You can't just shoot 3 threes a game and be like, oh, that's enough. No, it's not. Like, I need you to shoot more than that. Then we're gonna continue having this discussion. Most comments usually I see Giddey is when someone rebounds, they try and find him as an in-between guy for like a halfway fast break. Yeah, I agree. I think Giddey, especially in the open court, is a very valuable player to have because he can find those guys who are, either have a lane to the brim or are, spreading out for a 3-point shot. Hence, we saw that play where Giddey came and like just darted a pass to the corner to Zach, right? And Zach got a 3-point shot out of it. Like, that's where Giddey is really valuable. And I agree with that. But that's just half court. Or sorry, that's just in transition. That's not the half court offense, right? I think more disappointed than usual in part because his first 3 games Giddey played in the Garden, he's had huge points and triple doubles, and the coaching had no faith in him for the game. He should have some awareness that Giddey gets impacted for the better by big crowds and the atmosphere vibe for his rhythm. I mean, I don't know about that, Charles. That's kind of a stretch. Like, if you're gonna say that about Giddey, like, didn't you like make that like an argument about a lot of other players too? Like, that's kind of being like, yeah, so like we're in a specific state of the United States, therefore Giddey is gonna play good. Like, I don't really know if that's ever the case. Like, I know it's like, oh, the Bulls players and stars in Madison Square Garden. Like, I don't really know if that's really a thing. That's not something I would bank my bets on, though. I think we've seen Zach come in and have bad games at Madison Square Garden, if I'm not mistaken. Not everyone plays great at Madison Square Garden, but is that gonna run the offenses so they can get Levine's trade value up? I mean, I would agree. But even then, you're looking at Kobe's still here unless he's traded, and Io is still then probably what Donovan would rather use. So you have 2 guards still ahead of Giddey. Right now you have arguably 3. And I'll be interested, honestly, like, if Zach is traded and like they actually like really give Giddey the ball a lot, like he's if Giddey gets the ball like a ton where his usage percentage is like 30%. Like, I'd be extremely interested to see how that would work. Because I think his assist numbers will be very high. The big question is still yet again his scoring. Like, can his scoring be, effective enough to the point where you're like, yeah, I'm willing to give him the ball a lot of the game. Like, that's the whole reason why right now he's probably not getting the ball is because his scoring is too inconsistent. The atmosphere impacts players' heaps. I'm sure it does, but that's the way that you that's like a specific thing though. Like, Giddey gets impacted by big crowds and atmosphere / vibe for his rhythm. Well, the United Center is basically sold out every single night. So why isn't he playing like a great game every single time then there? If Vooch were 10 years younger, do you think he'd still be on the trade block? Oh, 100%. If Vooch was 10 years younger, oh, for sure. Yeah. If Vooch was 10 years younger, absolutely he would be on the trade block. And the team would have already traded for him by now. But because he's older and he's on a contract that might be too big for him for other teams with the new CBA, and teams worried about regression, he just has less value. So yeah. Usually look at OKC games when SGA wasn't playing, but I've said though in those games that I understand, like, yeah, he has some nice stats when SGA isn't playing, but those are just some nice stats. Like, I think that Giddey can easily get 10 assists. I'm aware of that, but can he go out and actively score? That's the bigger question. I'm not questioning his passing. I've been questioning his scoring, and he has some nicer games. But still, like, it's not like we're looking at a guy that I'm saying, yeah, we're going to give the ball to you as like our main go-to guy moving forward, or the second option, and honestly, you're probably not even the third option. So, here we go again. Just for reference, okay? Just because this is kind of the way I look at things, okay? So right now, so let's look at down here. So Drew Holiday with the Boston Celtics, like, he is like the fourth option. You can argue he's even the fifth option for the Boston Celtics, okay? So I'll really quickly pull up Derek White's stats because I think he averages more points. Yeah, so yeah, Derek White, in the past couple of years, you can say that he's been like the fourth or third option for the Boston Celtics. Your 1 and 2 obviously Tatum and Brown. If Porzingis is there, he's your third. If he's not there, then I would say Derek White's probably your third, and then Drew Holiday's your fourth. Okay, so automatically I'm looking at these numbers. I'm like, okay, a guy scores 15 points per game, and then the other guy scores 12. Let's say 12 and a half. Okay, so Giddey this year, right? We're talking about this season for now. Okay, so he's averaging, coming into tonight's game, 13.9. It went down after this game to 13.2. Okay, still early in the year, fine. But last year was 12.3, his highest ever, his career high in his sophomore season is 16.6. I'm aware that people keep saying, well, that was just his sophomore season, he's gonna get better. I had major doubts about that, but sure, fine, if you want to say that sort of thing. I don't think that's really necessarily the case here, but either way, though, you're looking at a guy that scores 16.5 points per game on 32% three-point shooting, okay? Not exactly the best thing in the world, right? You need that sort of guy to be more efficient if he's gonna be scoring 16 no matter what. But if he's gonna be scoring more points, he's got to be more efficient. Okay, he put up 48% field goal percentage. That's nice, but I've said it consistently. The 3-point shooting has to be big. Now though, it's like, okay, we're looking at a guy right now. Let's just be real. Right now in this Bulls offense, Levine's your 1, Vooch is your 2, Kobe's your 3, Giddey's your 4th. So yet again, we're having this conversation again where Giddey right now is being the 4th option. If suddenly Giddey is being thrusted into being the first or second option, do we really think that he's gonna suddenly average like 20 plus points per game consistently? I have my doubts. Okay, like, I've said this year that I think this would be a good time if he's going to ever show he's going to be a consistent option. He needs to go and average 20. He needs to average 18 this year. But if he's ever going to average 20, like, he's got to average 18 this year, because I thought that he can carve out a serious role where Zach's your number 1, but he is probably, you can say, like, he can fight for the number 2. I know Vooch is still here, but I did not expect Vooch to have this good of a season so far. Therefore, I'm like, hey, I think the number 2 option is kind of up for grabs. And you can very clearly see that it's already shifted, that Donovan trusts Kobe White, Ayusubu, and Zach LaVine more to handle the ball and playmake in the offense rather than Giddey. Right now, just for now. This could change in 5 games, but at this current moment in time, this is what's happening. So, yet again, we're at this point where he was supposed to be the guy is supposed to be running the offense all season, and we're 12 games in, and it seems like his role is already diminished to what it was in Oklahoma City. So, if that's the case, we're looking now at 2 teams that have done this to him if this continues throughout the rest of the year, where he has been relegated to being a much more off-ball, not as involved on-ball option. So if there's a consistent theme, right, it's just that, here we go. Like, this is what he is. If he's actually going to be this sort of main option, okay, this would be the time. Like, this, I don't think this team's that amazing. So even the people that say they're going to win 40 games, that's just 40 games. It's not even 500. That's a 500 team. You're going to tell me then that Josh Giddey, if you're supposed to be the guy moving forward, is going to be, he's a 4th option on a 500 team? That doesn't work in your favor. Like, you need to be the guy or the 2nd option if you're going to ever have a chance of being the guy on a 500 level team. We're not even talking, we're not talking contenders. We're talking a 500 level team. I think this team's going to be worse than 500. So now, here we go. We're at this point again where he's been relegated to this spot. So we'll continue to watch this. I don't think this is going to, like, this whole, 28 minutes per game, I don't think this is going to continue. I think, honestly, what he needs to do is just put more effort in defensively, and he's going to play more. Whether he's missing his threes or not hitting his layups or whatever on the offensive end, if he just plays better defensively, then he'll see more time. I think Donovan has just kind of been on that right now because the defense has been so bad. So if he just puts in more effort defensively, then I think he will be seeing more time. But if he doesn't, then this still keeps adding on to the argument of why Josh Giddey is probably not right now a guaranteed starter on many teams. He's a fringe starter right now, at least in my eyes. There's gonna be some nights he looks really decent, and then there's other nights like tonight where you're just like, what is he? Good passes though. So yeah, I'm not again, 25 games. I'm still waiting around before I'm gonna be like, okay, here's what Josh Giddey is right. I'm still just kind of hanging on of like, we'll see kind of how it is right now. Like when the Bulls trade for him, I said fringe starter, so now it's still fringe starter. But 25 games in, we'll actually see. I think like we'll have a better picture of it all. He's here for the rest of the year, so we'll have plenty of time. We'll have plenty of time to figure this out. As he's not going anywhere because there's no way AK is gonna be trading him after he just traded Alex Caruso for him. They missed the game tonight. Zach violated the Knicks. Pretty much. Zach just had 19 points in the first half of 7-9 shooting. Yeah. If they're not going to give him the ball, then why did they trade for him? Well, I think the plan was to give him the ball, but very clearly the team is better when he doesn't have the ball right now. So here we go. Now, mind you, okay, I just want to point this out because if we're gonna make this whole like, okay, well, we need Zach off the team. Okay. Like, I'm aware that this is something that, everyone, like, people want to say, like, okay, well, we need to get Zach off the roster so that Giddey can thrive, if you want to put it that way. Well, let's look. So, no Zach LaVine in this game. Giddey goes 3 of 12 shooting. He had 13 assists, like I said. He's going to have a ton of assists. I don't doubt that. 3 of 12 shooting, though. No Zach LaVine. Okay? That's one game. So, the next game, though. Dallas Mavericks, and I'm aware that these are better teams. 39 shooting, no Zach LaVine, 6 assists, 10 points, 5 turnovers. No Zach LaVine. Just saying. No Zach. Zach's not out there at the moment. This game here. 5-11 shooting, 15 points better, right? 7 assists, no Zach LaVine. So you're yet again seeing that even without Zach, it's not like he's going out and he's putting up a ton of points. Like he's not getting to 20. He's taking a relatively the same amount of shots. It honestly it looks like Io just went into the starting lineup and just took Zach shots instead, right? Like this is how it goes. So even without Zach, you're still pretty much getting the same player. So look, I honestly think right now for Giddey, just like if he just focuses on the rest of the season where he's just all right, I'm shooting the 3-ball. I just need to shoot with confidence. I'm gonna go out there and just shoot it well, and show that I'm a good 3-point shooter. I would not be upset at that. Like, I think that's honestly something you might need to consider. But again, 25 games in, that will actually like really have to like reconsider his role maybe. I'm not necessarily like, again, I'm not gonna be like making any sort of big decisions here. Again, we're 12 games in. But if we're 25 games in and yet we're still having this conversation of like, okay, showed up like pretty nice game one game, not great the next, and still having this conversation like, what is he still after 25 games? And you know, I know it's still sort of early, but you know, he's gonna have to really start thinking about what is his role in the NBA, because right now his finishing is not getting any better. But if his 3-point shooting got better, then he can be a legitimate option on the floor in terms of like an offensive like utility type of dude. And that's valuable. Like, I think a lot of teams could use that sort of that type of guy. But you gotta hit the 3-ball. Like, there are guys in today's game, like look at Josh Hart, for example, right? Now, you know, forget the defense for a little bit here. But Josh Hart has made a living on the offensive end of being a good cutter, a pretty decent finisher at the rim for his size, one hell of an offensive rebounder, and a damn good screener, right? Josh Hart's not a 3-point shooter, really. Like, yeah, he'll take some here and there, but like, he's not a 3-point shooter. So I want to say that Josh Giddey can go and do the same thing. He's bigger than Josh Hart. He has better passing ability than Josh Hart. Arguably, he's probably a better rebounder, maybe. I'll still probably give it to Hart just due to the lack of size for Hart. But if that's the case, then I'm like, okay, well, if you're not gonna give me 3-point shooting, then at least he can finish good at the rim, though, right? And he doesn't finish good at the rim. So if that's not an option, then I'm like, okay, I need you to shoot the 3-ball. That's like the only thing that I'm saying is like his saving grace is that you can be basically what Josh Hart is, except that you don't cut and finish only inside, and you shoot more threes. That's obviously more that could be really effective in an offense if you're just a good 3-point shooter with those extra tools in your arsenal. Like, that's a very good option for him for his career. So yeah, I'm sorry to the Josh Giddey supporters. Like, I'm aware that a lot of people like Josh Giddey and want him to succeed. I don't want him to succeed. I want Josh Giddey to prove me wrong and show that he can be an all-star. But right now, yet again, we're now looking at his second team, and this team is not, an Oklahoma City Thunder situation where you have a MVP caliber player on your roster. You may have an all-star in Zach, and honestly, the way that Vooch was playing, you might also have another all-star. But still, I think if there's any years, it's like this year has shown you that Levine can be a really good off-ball option, and Vooch has been extremely more efficient with less shots. So it's not like these guys are eating up everything. Like we talked about the usage percentage. Like these guys aren't like hogging the ball. No one's at 25% is that where Zach is. No one's at 30%. Okay, like if you're wondering what the Dallas Mavericks look like, just really quickly, here's how this looks like. So Luka Doncic is getting 33%, and Kyrie Irving still has more usage than Zach LaVine so far this season. So you could be on this team where there's no chance you get the ball, and the only times you touch the ball is when you're asked to shoot it. So there's more time with the ball on this roster than other rosters. So I hope that Giddey is able to take advantage of it. And we'll see moving forward here. Oh, hold on. Sorry. I don't want to get copyright strike here. Okay. So I want to immediately just go over to crunch time, okay? Because I think this is something that I'm going to be just kind of focusing in on for like the early parts of this. So I want to make it clear, I'm not talking about all of crunch time, but I am talking about some parts of crunch time. So I do think that part of the crunch time moments are important to look at, specifically when Jalen Brunson decided to ISO and the Bulls decided not to. So let's watch this. Go to here. So let's just watch this play, because this is kind of what the Bulls did, and I just want to show you what this does. Okay. When I talk about isolating and why it's effective, the reason why is because you're putting the basketball in your best player's hands, ideally against a mismatch, and you're asking, it's like you're just basically just like betting, like, okay, if I had to make a bet on who's gonna win this possession, or this one-on-one possession, I am choosing my best player to either score or make the correct decision versus this defender who is probably not the best suited defender for this matchup to win the possession, right? To stop us. So here's the reason why, though, I say that I think running the sort of ISO is better. So let's watch the Knicks actually run and pick and roll, because this is what the Knicks stopped doing in late game. They just instead isolated Brunson. But this is what happens in a pick and roll. So fake, and then we throw it back, and we're going to run pick and roll. So this is a side pick and roll. The Bulls are running pick and roll at the top of the key here. This is more of a side pick and roll on the wing. But you see, though, automatically how the Knicks are spacing out, right? They're like, okay, space. There's 3 guys in this section of the floor, and then you're running these 2 guys in a pick and roll set, okay? Now, here's the problem. So Brunson beats Zach. He completely fools Zach on the little fake to the left. And then he goes right. Cat obviously moved up more, and so you're looking at where Cat potentially was going to be screening on Zach's right side. Instead, he's screening on his left. So Zach's out of the play. But just due to that, though, even that being said, Vooch was still technically in position, which he really didn't do anything. But Vooch could have made a play on this ball. But still, though, you see Io is willing to leave Josh Hart and come on over and help on this, and it results in this sort of play. Now, if you're probably thinking like, well, it's a paint shot, and Brunson's just kind of make it or whatever. My point is, though, is that when a pick and roll happens, all eyes are like heavily focused on it, and you're involving more bodies in that area of the floor. For reference, if Brunson wanted to go left there, Vooch is there. So it's like, it kind of takes away his option of like, I'm going to go left over here. And in late game, obviously, you want your best player to have the most amount of space possible to operate. Like, you want them to just kind of really just operate their own will, and let them figure it out. So, for example, here, okay, this isn't an isolation for Jalen Brunson, but this is a straight up isolation for Cat. So they run horn set, by the way. So Brunson was up here. Oh, sorry, hold on, let me go to orange. Brunson was up here with the ball initially. Josh Hart was here, and Cat was here, okay? So they threw the ball to Hart, and now you're seeing Brunson set a screen for Cat to come on up and get the basketball here, okay? Oh, sorry. And now, as you see what happens, is that they got the switch. So you have Karl-Anthony Towns being guarded by Zach LaVine. This is a mismatch, and they're just going to let Cat work. Like, you even see Brunson and Hart, they're just like, all right, get the hell on out of here. Give him as much space as possible. We're just going to let us space the floor and let Cat operate, okay? So, space the floor. Cat backs down Zach. And because of that, because it's a mismatch, you get this, okay? Like, this is kind of what I'm saying. Like, yeah, maybe the Bulls could do better, but it puts the defense in a rough spot because now the main defender is disadvantaged, right? If your main point of attack defender is not a good defensive matchup in your favor, right? That team's at a severe disadvantage because now that defender is just not as effective, right? So that's an example of just a straight up isolation. Just isolate, let him go. And that wasn't even with Brunson. That was just with Cat. Like, see, it's an effective option, especially late game. It's a good option overall. Now though, I'm going to show you what the Knicks really started to run in the late game, and I think it was really smart. So they automatically are like, hey, we need to start instead looking for a matchup for Jalen Brunson to take advantage of. So the Knicks sought out Patrick Williams pretty quickly. And they were willing to just live with the matchup, the mismatch, and just let Brunson work and just be like, okay, We're just gonna live and die with whatever Brunson does here. So, for example, let's watch this. So, the Knicks kind of like show like a similar type of set. Where like, oh, maybe it's same set, try to get Cat to get a smaller guy on them, and they switch. But instead, though, say again, it's horn set, right? Instead of them throwing the ball to Josh Hart and we're running the same play where Brunson comes out, sets the screen, Cat comes out, gets the ball, and we got a mismatch. Instead, though, Brunson is going to use the screen from Josh Hart, and now, so Zach's not on Brunson, but now the bigger thing is that Hart's going to screen for Cat. Cat's going to come over here, and the idea is to get Patrick Williams onto Jalen Brunson. Okay, so right here, didn't happen initially, and so they're going to do it again, and now you got the mismatch. So now, this is exactly what the Knicks want. They got the mismatch that they were seeking for, and Brunson has 7 seconds to operate now. Space the floor, let him do his work. Give him as much space as possible. Like, right now, just in this one little snapshot, you've given Jalen Brunson all of this space to operate. Okay? This is ideal. This is what you want to see. So now Brunson is like, okay, I got my mismatch. I got Patrick Williams on me. I'm able to stop on a dime and hit the shot over him. Okay? So, nice job with that play. Good job by Thibodeau and the Knicks for executing it well. Good job overall. Okay? That in my opinion was really well executed, and I applaud them for that. Now let's watch the next possession for them. It's the same idea. Okay, so if you're wondering why is Patrick Williams on Cat, by the way, the Bulls decided to put Vucevic on OG Anunoby because Cat was giving Vucevic a lot of problems. So they put P. Will on Cat, and so that's the reason why Cat's the guy coming up and setting the screen. The Bulls are willing to switch this because they've shown that they switched it before. So they're switching 1 through 4, which is fine. I think it's the correct decision by the Bulls. But still, though, if you're the Knicks, you're like, okay, this is the advantage that we want. Yet again, isolation. Hey, look, it looks the exact same way as the last possession, right? All this space to operate. You space the floor basically the exact same way with the same players in the same spots. And I'm just going to let Brunson go. And while P. Will is, hopefully going to be a good defender in his career, he's not a guard, right? So he can't keep up with Brunson's speed. And he's probably not going to reach in and try to grab and try to knock the ball away because Brunson's smaller than him and has better ball handling. So Brunson isolates one-on-one, gets the drive advantage on P. Will. Because the floor is spaced so properly, no one's really able to come over and contest. But also, not to mention, you have a guy out there that would have probably come over and contested on a layup attempt from Patrick Williams, right? If P. Will was not guarding the main ball handler. But now, because he is guarding the main ball handler, he's now not able to come over and help, right? So you're effectively looking at him as taking him out of the paint as a guy of being a help defender and allowing him to kind of do his thing. And allowing Brunson to do his thing. That's the mismatch that he's looking for, and he took advantage very, very well. Now, I'm aware, though, that this requires like a superstar to go ahead and do this with. I'm not saying that Zach is like, Brunson level, Luka Doncic level, or whatever, but I do think, though, that there are better options for the Bulls to run in crunch time. Like, I think that a lot of what we saw in crunch time was pretty poorly ran by the Bulls. I think some of the decisions by the Bulls were pretty stupid to run in crunch time, and I've been questioning why they would do these sort of plays, but this has been a staple, unfortunately, of Donovan in crunch time. So if you're wondering, this is one of the plays. Okay, I'm gonna have to go back, unfortunately, because I got a black screen here, but this is one of the plays. So right now we have Zach LaVine coming up, okay, with the basketball, and it's gonna be a straight pick and roll. Okay, this pick and roll set up here, you're looking at just a simple Vucevic LaVine pick and roll, and Zach's gonna go this way and ideally get something out of it. First and foremost, you already see the problem, which is that Zach's going to the right and there's two defenders over here. Why would you go that way? Out of all things, like, why is the play set up to go that way? Like, if P. Will is standing on this side, like, let's just say Patrick is on the other baseline, I think this is a better decision, but I still don't really like it at the end of the day. But no matter what, like, it still doesn't make any sense. So this is what happens. Because he's running a pick and roll, and the Knicks aren't switching this pick and roll, by the way, if you're wondering, because like they're both going to Zach, or they're not gonna switch Cat onto Zach. If that was happening, then I'm fine with this, because then Zach could get the one-on-one matchup he's looking for and just take Cat off the dribble one-on-one. But instead, we have both of them going to the ball, and so Zach has to try to get this ball to Vooch, but they're blitzing Zach, so it's hard to get Vooch specifically out of the roll. And you're already running out of space if you're Zach. So this thing sort of happens. Vooch is open, right? He's not really open anymore because now OG Anunoby's here. The spacing here is awful. This is just bad. But Zach throws it back out to he doesn't throw it back out, excuse me. He goes back out and tries to drive it again, and it's out of bounds. Why not instead copy what the Knicks did and try to get Jalen Brunson onto Zach LaVine? Okay? Jalen Brunson's the worst defender out of all these guys, except for maybe Cat, but the Knicks are not going to switch that pick and roll with the center. So instead of bringing Vooch up to the ball, let's try to see if we get Jalen Brunson in the middle of the action and see if he can get switched onto Zach. If he does switch onto Zach, then you just let Zach go. I think that's a fine idea. If they double team Zach, then I can at least trust that, one, you have less length on Zach because it's not a 7-foot center like Cat. So Zach can find the outlet much easier. But two, then if the ball is given to whoever set the screen, so in this case it would be Io, then you're giving the ball to a guard who is able to either shoot it off the dribble effectively, which Vooch probably can't do, or they can decide to drive it and make the quick decision out of the 3v4 situation. So I just think that they're just better decisions overall instead of putting Vucevic in the pick and roll with Zach if you're going to run the pick and roll. I've also just said, though, that I really do not care who is guarding Zach. But if the Bulls just decided, hey, in crunch time, let's just post up Zach, on the elbow area, or like post up Zach here, and ideally it's a one-on-one matchup, great. If for some reason he does get double teamed there, then because he's a guard, it's more effective because then the center has to be in rotation, right? But I don't think he should get double teamed there, but this allows him to get that post fadeaway to go off that he's been absolutely nailing this season. Like Zach LaVine has just been nailing that like Kobe fadeaway consistently from mid range. So if there's ever a time to use it, it would be now. Do it now. Run a play where you can get Zach to have an ISO post up against, even if it is against Mikal Bridges. Like I don't care if that's Mikal Bridges. Like I trust Zach. Like, get that sort of play in your playbook. Space the floor properly once he catches the ball. If they do double team him, then he has so many more options that you can just throw to like that. And if they do double team him, it's going to be harder for the defense to recover because he's a guard. Okay, this is the reason why I've said that posting up a perimeter player is more effective than posting up a center, especially if it's a center that's not that good in the post. Now, Vooch obviously has been very good in the post this year, but previous years he hasn't been that way. So that's the reason why I've been saying don't post up Vooch, but if it's Zach who's been absolutely just nailing that post fadeaway all season, then why not do it now? I just get perplexed, honestly. It's probably partially the player's decision making, but I get very confused by Donovan's play calling late game. Like it's very, very much just high pick and roll stuff with worse spacing than what we've been seeing all season. And I do think that maybe some of these other players are not exactly in the right spots at all times. Like when Zach did try to run that initial pick and roll, I think he will needs to clear out. But it's just confusing just to watch how, the Knicks are able to run a simple, run a simple switch, right? Where you can, or a simple pick and roll where you get the switch, get the mismatch, and just run in a straight ISO. But the Bulls are like, hey, we can't do that. We're running a pick and roll of Vooch and trying to get Vooch involved, and we're running it with either Kobe or Zach as the ball handlers. And knowing all that, it's gonna put more players onto the ball handler. Like that's what the pick and roll does. Is that it puts more defenders onto the ball handler. It brings more defenders into the ball handler's space, and I don't want that. Right? I would much rather just see these guys like Kobe or Zach just run a straight ISO and space the floor properly, rather than trying to run this pick and roll between the center and the ball handler. So I have a serious just like gripe against this for the Bulls because they've had this issue for a long time. But yeah, we'll see what's gonna be happening here. I didn't see too much when you play Okasuma's defense last looks better this season. Oh, Giddy's. Who should stop playing Embiid this season? Not to lie. I agree, but obviously Embiid hasn't done anything really. I tasked my partner to ask the most important question. She walked in and asked me, starting a stupid debate to settle, please. She's Korean, say you look Korean. Sorry, she is Chinese, say you look Korean ethnicity when she walked in. She asked me where you are from, a complete random, and I said I would guess Chinese background, not basketball, but she's bullying. I know clear American too, it doesn't really matter, but again, she thinks she was really right. Charles, she is right. I am Korean. That is correct. Yeah, don't worry about asking. Yeah, that's fine to ask. She is correct though. I am Korean. So congrats to your partner. She guessed right. Yeah, I am Korean though. I'm very bad at labeling the facial features of a Korean person, but I am Korean at the end of the day. Yeah. I am very much. I am very much American. Like I said in my previous stream, I am the whitest Asian you'll ever know. My last name is White, so it can't get any more white than that. I am the whitest Asian you'll ever know. If she's wondering, I do not speak any Korean at all. I don't speak any Korean. Yeah. So yeah, something I would like to learn, but unfortunately I cannot. I tried learning Spanish for a long time through middle school and high school, and unfortunately I can't learn that. Learning a new language is hard for me. So I would love to learn Korean, but I can't. Or just it's so hard. It's so difficult for me. She's cheering. Congrats to her. Yeah. Really good guessing by her, honestly. That's a really good guess. How would you rate the bench unit so far? It's had its ebbs and flows. It's been like, I'd say the bench unit has been, if I had to give it like a grade, like a B minus, if I had to. I think Jalen Smith was pretty good. Obviously, he didn't have that great of a game today, but he just got back from an illness. I think Io has been kind of up and down. When he's been good, he's been really good. When he's been bad, he's been really bad. I do think that Phillips and Terry have impressed me more than disappointing me this year. So, but overall, just having Io and Smith off the bench, I think is pretty good. It's been still though, it's not anything amazing at the end of the day. Mondo's sweet block shots. I think he's the Bulls' best shot blocker despite getting garbage minutes. I agree, Christopher. I do think that he is probably the Bulls' best shot blocker at the moment. His block on Josh Hart today was impressive to me. Like that was a very impressive block. I don't remember if it was in transition for the Knicks or not, but like that block in my opinion was very impressive. That's the reason why I get excited for Buzelis' defensive end, because I think that if he is, let's say, switched onto a smaller guy and he gets beat initially on that first step, his length and his ball hawking ability, like he can really like make up ground because he is so lengthy and he's so good at just watching the ball and tracking it. Like he was beat like kind of on that Josh Hart layup attempt, but he still blocked it. Like that's awesome. Yeah, I think that's the sort of stuff that gets me excited for Buzelis moving forward. I just don't know if it's, the offensive end is just a bigger question. That's kind of obviously what we're concerned about. What's going on, Rob? I saw you earlier. I'm sorry I didn't say hi earlier. Billy need to get Matzos more consistent minutes. I agree. I think Buzelis needs more consistent minutes, but I've said it, but no one's safe from Billy Donovan's hand, right? Giddy's not safe. We've seen T-Will, Kobe White, Giddy, they're all not safe from Billy Donovan's hand, right, of being pulled. So I want to see Buzelis at least get 10 minutes a night, ideally 12, right? But I don't know. It's going to be rough for him to get minutes, especially with Lonzo supposedly returning soon. I don't think he's going to be playing Friday from what it looks like. I know that some people said that he might be, or at least he said like on the bigs that he's going to try to return in the weekend. But it doesn't seem like Lonzo's going to return on Friday. But if well, whenever he does come back, right, the rotation just gets even tighter, right? So it could be harder to get minutes. The zero fouls for the Montes also huge. Maybe shows growth. Yeah, I think that's obviously a really good sign. If you can block shots and not foul, like that's really good. Yeah, like right now, I mean, it's gonna happen from time to time with Buzelis, but like it's not like he's really getting hit with like the whole I'm standing up straight and then like he'll come down when, you know, maybe didn't think he came down. Like he's not really doing that too much. Like he's had some moments of it, but that's a good sign. Like he's effectively blocking shots without fouling, at least too often. Like that's good. But I don't know whose minutes get taken away though, because everybody's showing up by the deserved time. Well, I mean, I've always said, like, I did not think Dalen Terry is going to be in the rotation this year. I really didn't. I didn't think he was going to be in the rotation. Yet here he is. So in my opinion, it would be him. Julian Phillips' minutes has already been cut like heavily. If you're wondering, like, his minutes are basically getting cut to like 10 a night. So I'm like, I know Terry's been, you know, a lot of people have been liking what they've been seeing from Terry. I'm not exactly like thrilled. I do think that he's giving good effort, and his full court pressure defense has been solid. He had a big three tonight, but that's the guy I would have personally have chosen. Like, I think he would have cut into his minutes. And so like when Lonzo gets back, like, you know, instead of him replacing Buzelis, he would replace Dalen Terry's minutes, and then you can take maybe like a minute or two away from the starters to kind of even things out. But yeah, it's hard. It's hard to take away minutes right now. Zitz, to me, seems more consistent when healthy, but the rest of it has been hit or miss, just my opinion, though. Yeah, Jalen Smith, I think when he's, like, fully healthy, like, he's a very efficient player. Defensively, he's very limited, though. Like, you would think Jalen Smith would have the tools to be a good defender, but so far, he has really shown that he's not a good defender, especially at center. I think that he is probably best guarding at the perimeter, honestly, because he has good foot speed to keep up on the perimeter. But obviously he's not going to be playing the perimeter. He's not going to be playing the four with this Bulls team. So, yeah, I think with Smith, though, that when he is healthy, like, he's been very consistent, and I've been happy with how he's looked. But I agree, though. Like, I think Io, like, when Io's been right, he's been very helpful. But the rest of the guys have been kind of just meh. I thought Phillips would have a pretty solid year off the bench. He has not so far. His minutes are getting cut as we speak. And Buzelis, obviously, he's been in and out of the rotation constantly. So the bench isn't exactly looking amazing. And, you know, we'll see if Zach Vuce gets traded earlier or later down the road. But yeah, without Lonzo there, like, the bench is pretty lacking. And even Lonzo has had his ups and downs, which is expected. So, like Buzelis in transition shot blocking, I agree. Yeah. Buzelis, man, like, I'm just hoping that it works out for him, where it's like, if all the tools that I see that he has can kind of fit together, and we're, you know, he's using them well, like, I can see a really good impactful player. I don't think all-star or anything like that, just like a really impactful player. But there are just so many ifs, man. There are just so many ifs when I say that. So I'm hoping it works out with him. Tonight, though, the thing, like, I've been saying this about Buzelis, though. He said it himself. It's not the speed of the game that's affecting him right now. He looks really good in NBA tempo. Like, that's not a concern. Playing in the G League last year has very clearly helped him. But very clearly the physicality has messed with him. Guys are bigger and stronger than him, and when Dalen Terry first practiced with the Bulls, his first thing that he said to the media is that, well, Zach LaVine is very fast. So, yeah, like, that is, I guess, more speed of the game, but, like, still, though, it's just that it just shows, like, the athleticism and, athletes in the NBA are just incredible. So it's just, the guys just having more gifted physical, gifts, right? That's kind of what's getting to him at the moment. So I'm hoping that once he gets stronger, he'll be able to, really show what he can do. But that might be like a year and a half away, honestly, before we really even see anything, because he is pretty thin. Eventually needs to become more consistent, either Kobe or Io. I mean, I would like to hope that Io is going to be there every night. I mean, like, this is the reason why I like Io a lot, because he Like when Io's right, he doesn't miss from inside the arc really, and then he should be like a pretty decent 3-point shooter. So 16 points on 8 shots, right, is really nice to see with 6 assists and 2 steals. And also he doesn't really turn the ball over. So like ideally, if Io's right, you're gonna get that. The problem though is that Io's been extremely hit or miss this year. Like he's had games where he can't make a damn layup, and then there's games where like against the Jazz he's hitting everything, right? So yeah, I don't know what it's gonna be. Now I don't want Montes to go from garbage minutes to good. If you're wondering, Christopher, like in this game though, like Montes played in all 12 minutes in this game for Buzelis was important minutes. Like this wasn't like garbage minutes by Buzelis tonight. So like I think right now Buzelis is in the rotation. Like he's actually getting like, you know, quality NBA minutes at the moment. He's not getting like the he's not getting just the garbage minutes at the moment. Like he's actually getting good minutes. So it's happened already. I'm saying though, I don't know what's gonna happen down the road when Lonzo gets back. I'll be upset if he's suddenly out of the rotation. Guessing when they see him in practice become more consistent. His minutes in the first half aren't garbage. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, especially like even tonight. Like I understand he's missing his shots. He didn't make a shot in the first half, but he had pretty much, you know, a couple blocks in the first half. That's good. He's moving well. He's pushing pace. He's pushing tempo. Like that needs to continue with Buzelis. Mike Smith though, I also got a worry for him in stamina plus health. I am also worried about that. Like Jalen Smith missed a lot of time in his career in terms of for injuries. Yeah, and then even last year he dealt with a lot of things. Even though it was a great year for him, he just missed games. Like he only played 61 games last year and only started in 14. So yeah, I do agree. Like if there is a major concern for Jalen Smith at the moment is that stamina seems to be an issue because he doesn't seem to last very long out there on the floor. Even if he's playing well, like, he doesn't seem to last very long out there. But also then it just seems like injuries because he's already had like multiple nagging injuries to start the year. So ideally that doesn't happen. But yeah, it's not looking great. When Billy's trying something in rotation, I'm curious if he tries something power forward so much to see how it goes. My only issue is just that I don't want it to be Vooch to be the center in that sort of spot because I don't think Jalen Smith is good defensively, and having both Vooch and Jalen Smith be the 4 and 5 is just going to be tragic defensively. But also the problem is that they'll eat up the same space. Like unless Jalen Smith is really going to be the corner 3-point shooter in that sort of lineup, they eat up the same space. So I don't want them to try to, you know, play together and like be in the same spot as each other. Ideally, you'd go out and get, you know, some other center that's more of a rim runner. And then I'm willing to kind of see Jalen Smith at the 4 and see how it kind of would work out. But obviously the Bulls don't have that at the moment. So, yeah, I'm a little just concerned about that. The Jalen Smith and Vooch lineup just sounds scary to me. Like on both ends, by the way. Like I'm aware that right now they're both hitting their 3-point shots, but yeah. Have you seen a trade idea for Levine to the Magic? If so, what are your thoughts? I have seen it. Yeah. Let me pull it up here. I'll answer a few more questions. I want to hear you guys' thoughts though. Like, by the way, for all you guys, like I know I just kind of like you guys ask a lot of questions and I answer. I don't always ask a lot. It's kind of hard for me to ask questions because I feel like I always ask like 3 questions. So I know it's hard to respond, but feel free. Like if at any point you want to chime in on something, like you're free to do so in this chat. So yeah, feel free to comment away when it comes to anything, like whatever topic we're on. And like I said before to other people too, it's not just the Bulls channel on here. Like this is mainly a Bulls channel, but it's everything. It's NBA at the end of the day. So if you want to talk about Chet Holmgren being out 8 to 10 weeks, like I'm here to talk about it. More than happy to. So hold on, give me a second here. I want to show the Bleacher Report Zach LaVine trade. Okay. By the way, I don't like that Bleacher Report like decided to show this. Like they sent out an alert for this about LaVine's bad defense on Jalen Brunson, where Zach just like gave up. Like, I actually think Zach did a pretty decent job today on Brunson. Like, I'm not saying he did amazing. Like, he isn't Alex Caruso, but I appreciate what he did today. Like it was actually like a good overall effort. Again, not perfect, but I appreciate what he did. And then he had that block on OG Anunoby today. Like I think Zach is actively trying hard to play defense this year. That's all I ask for. Like I don't think he has like the best physical gifts to be a good defender, but if he just tries, you know, I do think that he can be effective, especially against some of the smaller guards. I do think that he can be an effective defender against them. Okay, so if you're wondering about the Zach LaVine trade that the Bleacher Report has drawn up, here is the trade that Bleacher Report has drawn up here. Okay, so here's that. I'm gonna let you guys discuss it for just a second as I bring chat back over. You talk about P. Will? I bet, yeah. I talked earlier about P. Will. I said that, in my opinion, this was the best start to a game for Patrick Williams in his career. Excuse me, unless I'm forgetting another game. But you know, in the first 6 minutes, he had 11 points and 4 free throws attempted. Like that's amazing. I'm very happy that he did that. I'm just, you know, I'm hoping that he can continue this sort of level of better play. But just like he's had now 2 games in a row, he's played pretty good, right? Now it's about though, can you go make it 5 games in a row? I know it's kind of harsh, but I can't be like, oh my god, you know, it's just a bad game from P. Will until he has consistent games in a row, right? So now it's about, can you go do it 5 games in a row? And I'm hoping that P. Will can get there, because I do think that for the start of this season, P. Will, because he was like, people forget that he also missed a lot of time. Like I know Zach has come back and looked amazing, but like Zach was out since January, so was Patrick Williams. So I do think that sort of affected P. Will maybe a little bit harder. And so maybe now he's kind of in better game shape, and we're kind of seeing the better version of him now. Like I said earlier this year, that 25 games I'm still going to give Patrick Williams before we start saying, oh my god, we got to bench him, or anything like that. So like if he was still playing poorly through the first 25 games, then yeah, we're going to bench him. But I wanted to give him 25 for a reason, and I think we're seeing it now. Not saying he's going to do this every night. I don't think he will, but now it's about, can you go out and show me that you are worth being a starter every single night? You were just paid $90 million, so go out and prove it. And now it's, you got to go do that. You know, it's been 2 good games in a row, make it 5. Then we can start really talking like, hey, did P. Will finally flip the switch? Because suddenly now it looks like his first step is a little bit better. His first step has not been good all season, but it's looked better now. And I appreciate that he's shooting the catch and shoot 3 ball a little bit more aggressively, right? Not really hesitating as much, willing to shoot it even if it's in traffic. I appreciate that. Now it's just continue doing it. Just as much as I've been saying, like, hey, I'm willing to give you some games to kind of work things out. If you do play well, I also will say, well, it's only been 2 games, so now you got to show me that this is going to be here to stay and not just a flash in the pan. So I'm happy for P. Will. I'm happy he's playing well. I just want to continue to see it. That's the big thing. And hopefully it does happen. Let's see. Now that most players taller than 6'4", we don't have to worry about. Oh, sorry, hold on. I hate when I do that. And of course, Epic Pen's open, so I can't. No, I have to worry about playing 2 centers at the same time. Yeah, I guess that is, I guess, a good thing. And I guess if we ever did it, it would be Jalen Smith, so yeah, 3-point shooting. But yeah, at least we don't have to play Derek Jones Jr. Right now at the 5. But we have seen Patrick Williams at the 5 this year. That's the only thing that I'm a little bit upset about. But hopefully that doesn't continue to happen. I don't want to see that. Did you watch any of the non-Bulls games yesterday? I did, bro. Steph Curry is incredible. I loved it. I did watch the 76ers and Knicks game a little bit, but that got boring for me. So I stopped watching that one. I was pretty much tuned in for a good portion of it though. Hawks Celtics upset was nice. That was insane to look at. Trae Young didn't play in that, and so somehow the Hawks still won. So I don't know how that worked out. I didn't watch the highlights of that. AC didn't play. Yeah, I saw AC did not play today due to hip soreness. Yeah. So Thunder are losing guys. That's not good. Change Cole Anthony and Anthony Black, and I might consider this. Okay, so let's get to the trade here. So the trade is Torrey Craig and Zach LaVine for Cole Anthony, Jonathan Isaac, Tristan Da Silva, a 2025 first round pick, the most favorable of the two picks between Denver and Orlando. Okay, a top five protection through 2027 on it. Turns into 2 second rounders if it is not conveyed. Okay, so there's a couple things, at least in my opinion, of where I am a little bit concerned about this trade. First and foremost, I don't know how much this really does help the Bulls in terms of like a rebuild. Jonathan Isaac is already kind of like is who he is. Cole Anthony, I don't see him being better than either Ayo Dosunmu or Kobe White, so I don't really like that. Yeah, that doesn't really make much sense to me. So the only guy that really, in my opinion, that kind of is just like, yeah, he kind of fits the rebuilding timeline is really Tristan da Silva. He hasn't really played a lot, if I'm not mistaken, so far this year. I'll have to ask my Magic friend more about him. Yeah, like, he's played 8 games actually. Okay, so he's played more than I thought. Oh, wow, I did not he was actually playing. Well, I guess Franz got injured. That's right. So yeah, he has played some more. But yeah, like Tristan da Silva, I guess would be the guy, but he's already 23. Like it's just a little like it's a little meh. Now I know for a lot of Bulls fans, it's just like they're just trying to get Zach's contract off. Like I understand that. The first round pick, you know, at least it being the better between the two of Denver and Orlando is nice because I'm gonna be real. I don't know who's gonna be better. It's probably gonna be Denver's gonna be better this year. But who knows, honestly. Like Denver could fall. So no matter what though, even if Denver, let's say, fell, you're still getting the better pick between whoever Denver and Orlando's pick is landing, right? So like you'll get the better pick no matter what. That's good. My only thing is just this though, is that I don't think it should be top 5 protected at all. I think if anything, it'll be top 3 protected. Through 2027 is also a little bit scary just because right now they do not have Paul Mancaro. And Franz also has missed some time and I think a game or two due to illness. So that's kind of just my only thing. I'm just like, I don't want it to be top 5 protected at all. I don't think that the Magic are really giving up a lot here in the first place. Like the most impactful player they're giving up is Jonathan Isaac, and they're getting Zach LaVine instead. And not to mention, then you're not even getting any second round picks out of this. So maybe I'm being a little bit too harsh on this. But yeah, I don't know. I'm just kind of like, it's all right. I think just kind of knowing how Zach is playing right now, like it's a little underwhelming. And right now for the Bulls, because of their situation with the pick that could go to the Spurs this year, I don't think they have really any room for error in terms of like, hey, can we take a pick that has some protections on it? Like I can't do that. I want to make sure I get the pick. So yeah, I'm just very mad on this. No one really fits the timeline except for maybe Tristan da Silva in terms of rebuilding, right? And I'm not like the highest person on Cole Anthony. Now, Jonathan Isaac would be interesting. Okay, I will say this would be the interesting guy to kind of look at. Now, he's been at a much more diminished role since he's gotten back from injury, which should be the case. But you're looking at like, a lot of people are like, oh my God, he's the next Giannis. He's not. But you're looking at a guy that could probably be like your 4/center, maybe. Like you're kind of looking at that sort of type of dude. So, like maybe, right? Like you can kind of imagine some sort of lineup where he can be the center, maybe in like a backup role or something like that. He is very much a defensive stopper, though. He is not. You should not be relying on his 3-point shooting by any means because he doesn't take a lot, and even if he's shooting a good percentage, he doesn't take a lot, right? You shouldn't be relying on him on any sort of offense, and ideally his rebounding gets better. So yeah, it's just hard. It's a rough thing to kind of look at. We just know that you're basically getting like a really good defensive stopper. He can guard 1 through 5 easily and be very effective. The only thing though is injuries. Jonathan Isaac is made of glass. I know this because I have a Magic friend who tells me about it all the time. If you just want to know though, Like, just look at his basketball reference. Like, this dude, he missed 2 years for injury, and then he came back, couldn't play. He, like, it just, this guy is made of glass, okay? Not really someone I really want. And, like, if there's any sort of chance of us trying to think, like, oh, we can take him and then we'll flip him later, I don't really think a lot of teams are going to be willing to want him. Like, they're not going to take him when he's made of glass. And, you know, I'll look at his contract really quickly here, but like he's getting paid like 17 million, I think. I don't remember what his current contract status is, but like either way though, I'm not feeling good about it, you know. So it's very meh. I appreciate the pick by the Magic. I appreciate the 2 young players. Isaac's interesting. I think we could get better, but I understand that the new CBA is rough. The new CBA is limiting a lot of things right now. So it's a lot rougher in terms of what could be out there for trade. What is he getting? Oh, okay. So he's getting paid 25 million this year. Okay, so he got a new extension. I see. Cool. Interesting. And he just got an extension. Yeah, I'm not ideal. Definitely not ideal in my opinion overall. But I don't know if the Bulls are really in a spot to be like, I want more, you know? Like, there's not really a lot of teams that can even trade for Zach in the first place. So, like, if they get this, like, let's say they get it today, they probably do it because it's early in the year and they don't know how Zach's going to keep performing and if he might get injured, so they'll probably do it. If, let's say, though, when I do, like, I think when Zach's trade talks will pick up is around December 15th because that's when most of the league can get traded, and if not, then it'll be January 15th. So still before the trade deadline. But let's say Zach is still playing well then, like he's still playing all-star level then, he's still healthy, and he's still putting up these sort of numbers on still his less usage percentage. Like, I'm easily saying I want more. Like, easily, I'm saying, like, I'm like, that's not enough. So, again, if that was offered today, I think the Bulls probably just like, yeah, get him off the books. Thank God we don't have to worry about his contract anymore. But if he's still playing this well later on in the year, I'm like, that's not enough. I need more. I definitely need more than that. If, let's say, for example, the Magic, let's say, you know, Zach was playing well and the Magic took away the protections. I know some of you are talking about Anthony Black. I'll get to him in a second here. But they added like 2 second-round picks. I'd be more interested. I think we have a real conversation then. Where Wolves play the Blazers again after playing last night? Oh, yeah, the NBA does that for some reason. Anthony Black would be a great prospect to take in. There's great upside potential for Black. Doubt they would give him up, though. Maybe a fallback if they won't give 2 first. Ask for Black instead of Cole. Yeah, so Anthony Black has sort of turned into like a hyper role player for the Magic. Like he's like turning into like this really like decent role player at the moment. 3-point shooting is still very suspect. The thing is though with Black is just that the fact that like it's similar to Giddey, so there's that. But he's 20 currently, soon to be 21. He has very good size, so like he isn't just like a point guard only, right? He can be effective in multiple positions. Pretty decent defender. 3-point shot is obviously, you know, kind of up in the air at the moment, but that's kind of what we're looking at, right? In terms of like a guy that would fit more of the rebuild, right? So yeah, if let's say instead, for example, let's say the Magic say, okay, take away Cole Anthony, we give you Anthony Black, still the same first round pick, top 5 protected. Let's say instead of through 2027, you extend it through 2028 or 2029 maybe, and throw in a second rounder, I might accept it then. Or you know what, take away this, no, forget second rounder. Like if let's say you extended the protection through 2028, and you gave me Anthony Black instead of Cole Anthony, I would do it. So in that sort of instance, then ideally you're getting a first round pick in the next 3 years, because it'll be 3 years down the road of how if it doesn't convey, you know, you still have those 3 years. You're getting then Anthony Black, a good 20-year-old prospect, right? And obviously then you're gonna hope that Isaac you can maybe flip. And then Tristan da Silva is a guy that maybe you can see what he develops into. Like, not bad, right? I would feel a lot better about that overall than obviously Cole Anthony. No disrespect to Cole Anthony, but I just don't really see what, like, he's not. I just don't see the upside. Yeah, not really sorry dumb either. I think both J.I. and Cole Anthony have long-term contracts. So Cole Anthony, you're right. So this is the you might actually, now that I think about it, I don't know if Anthony Black would work. Hold on, really quickly. Hold on, I just want to look at this. Cole Anthony did sign an extension. So that might be the reason why he's in the trade, right? So Jonathan Isaac. Oh, of course. Hold on. So I have to use this because Spotrac is very smart and doesn't allow you to trade players until they're allowed to be traded. So makes sense, honestly. I have forgotten how to use this. Holy crap! I have not. Okay, here we go. I have not used this site in a while, which is honestly a good thing for my own mental health. Don't want to be on this site consistently. Okay, so here's Zach. Trade this to trade Isaac back. So yeah, Anthony signed this new contract, so that's obviously a big deal. And we're getting Tristan da Silva. Bulls obviously then sent Torrey Craig over. And so then we're looking at this for the Magic in terms of players being sent. And so then this here, oh, I didn't know this. This is protected 1 through 5. Interesting. Yeah. Okay. Okay, I'll just trade the Magic. Excuse me. All right, I'm gonna trade this pick. I'll just put top 5 protection on it, and we'll send it over to the Bulls. So we'll just do that. So this is the current trade. This would. So if you're wondering, by the way, this would work. It's just that Isaac cannot be traded currently because he signed that extension. So right now it wouldn't work, but on January 6th it would work because Isaac would be available to be traded then. So this would work in January 6th. But let's say instead though we take away Cole Anthony and we put in Anthony Black. I don't think it's gonna work, but we'll see. Yeah, automatically it's not gonna work. This is not gonna work. So, actually, huh? Hold on, I need my phone. Does that work? Hold on. Hold on. I just want to quickly look at this. So if you're wondering about the trade rules, this is one of the trade rules here. So hold on. So we're looking at this specifically because it's over $29 million being sent out. So it'd be 36.2 times 1.25. Actually, that would work. Oh. Or it'd be very close. Plus then what? How much is it? It would be plus than 250K. So they'd be like 300K off. Yeah. So like the numbers would be weird, but like you're basically like 300K off. So I don't know if that would fully work. Obviously also on here it's not perfect. So hold on, let me just really quickly do this. So 25 plus 3 point. Then Anthony Black is getting paid 7 points. 5. Clear. Wait, sorry. 25 plus. Oh, hold on. Okay. 3.628 plus. Yeah, they'll be like. Okay, they're about 300K off. So. Yeah, that's rough. This would barely not work. That sucks so bad. So that being said, I'm just trying to figure out a way like I can make this like work well for the Bulls, like because I mean like right now, for example, like, I'm really willing to trade Chris Duarte like easily, but the problem is that you need the Magic to send out more money, and this is not something that I can see happening. So. Like, I guess what would happen is something like this, maybe, where it's like you would do this instead. So let's do this. Let's just quickly do this math. So it'd be 43.7 times 1.25. So yeah, this would cover it. So it would be like a Chris Duarte for Gary Harris swap or something like that. Probably not worth it if you're the Magic, by the way. Like, there's no reason to do this, but like this would be the trade. This would work out. The money works with this. So, again, I don't know if the Magic would do it, but yeah. Zach Ertz in season 2 last year, he was ramping up earlier the way if people could feel on his own. Well, so I mean, Zach also did the same thing, right? But Patrick stopped. You are right that Patrick didn't he waited longer, but still though, like they were out for basically the same amount of time. So you're right though. You're right though. It was like a longer month difference to see before the surgery. You're right. Corey Joseph instead of Tristan Silva if it's only 300K, if that's what he said. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, my only thing though is just like I don't want Corey Joseph, you know? Like I don't really want him. I would much rather Tristan De Silva, obviously. But yeah, like I understand what you're saying. Like this, I hate that they when I take it off on one side, they should take it off on the other side, but they don't do it. Oh no, they did do it. Sorry, they did it here. Okay, yeah. So this would be the. Wait, no, sorry, hold on. No, it's 300K the other way. The Magic need to send out 300K more. This would take away 300K. Like, because Corey Joseph's contract is 3.3 million. Tristan De Silva's is 3.6 million. So, basically, we need to send out 3.9 million for the Magic. That's what we would need. Unless the Bulls are sending out like, or there's other math involved here. But like, I'm just trying to think of like, they're not just gonna go with Caleb Houston or something like that. So that's just why I said like Gary Harris is like maybe their biggest expendable guy, but yeah. Yeah, I guess it would just be like if we're gonna maybe do it this way. So I don't know how they would do this, but it'd be like we'll get the Silva and then we would also get Corey Joseph. So this would work. The Bulls then just would have to waive some players. So you're probably waiving Corey Joseph in this situation. Yeah, this will be tough. And then you would have to make a decision about Javon Carter and like Chris Duarte. Then like that's rough. I don't want the dead money on my books, but if they're all 1-year contracts, that's fine. So I guess you would waive like Chris Duarte in this spot because you're sending out 2 and you're getting back 4 players, right? So you would need to clear 2 roster spots. So you would waive Corey Joseph to get rid of 1 guy. So sorry, like you would have to clear 1 roster spot because you're just bringing back to Silva. You're waiving Corey Joseph. So yeah, that would be tough to do. because then the only guy that's on a 1-year contract right now is Chris Duarte that you would look at as expendable. Because Javon Carter, it'll be Torrey. No, Torrey Craig's getting traded. Never mind. Yeah, so this will be it. This will be the trade. Yeah. Anything not Blacker or pick isn't really a big deal either way in a trade. I guess that is true. Well, TSU replaced Torrey Craig. Oh, I guess I guess I forgot about Taylor Horn Tucker, honestly. I forgot that he existed. Yeah. Okay, wait a minute. No. I don't know how. Yeah, this might work. Let's see really quickly. 36.2 times 1.5. Yeah, this would work. Yeah. So Zach LaVine and Taylor Horn Tucker for this would work. Yeah. I forgot that. I forgot that Taylor Horn Tucker is making less than Torrey Craig, but because I always think Torrey Craig's on the minimum, but Torrey Craig's on the second year of a minimum, so he's getting more money. So yeah, that's a good call. Yeah, so this would work. Zach LaVine and Taylor Horn Tucker for these three, this would work. And in the pick, this would work, money wise. Yeah, good call there, Charles. That would actually work. I'm not doing that Orlando trade. I don't blame you. Yeah. I know it's just like I don't think the Bulls are really in position to like kind of like say no to things, you know. If they're ideally, what would happen is that there is a bidding war for Zach. Again, I don't know who's like what teams would want him. It's a really rough overall market for Zach, and it's because of the contract and not because of the player really. But I don't really know who it would be. Like, it's not gonna be specifically I'm looking like out west, right? Because you ideally don't want to send Zach east. But yeah, if we're trying to send him out west, it's like who's gonna take him? I don't really see anybody really taking him. I think the Nuggets need him, right? I think the Nuggets would love him, but you don't have the money for it unless you're giving up some of your main core pieces. Lakers sort of have the money to do it, but I don't care about the picks that they have. You're not going to take him from Minnesota. So Clippers sounded like an option, but Norman Powell's become a legitimate scorer. So like, if you're the Clippers, why would you do it? You basically have similar Zach LaVine. Like, we'll see how long it lasts, but like Norman Powell is putting up hell of like incredible numbers. He's averaging 24.9 per game. So like really good shooting, by the way. Like he's shooting 50% from three. And 50% from the field. So like, why would you trade? Why would you trade for Zach then when you basically have another guy doing similar things in the same position? Now, I don't know how long it's going to last for Norman Powell. That'll be the big question for Norman Powell. But yeah, like he's done really well. If you're wondering what Zach's doing this year, I mean he's shooting 54% from the field and 43% shooting. So it's not bad. It's not bad by any means. But it obviously, you know, if you have a similar type player, you're not going to trade for him. And a lot of teams out west already have their shooting guard. So, yeah, it's rough. San Antonio, no shot that the Spurs would trade for him. So then, yeah, out east, like the Magic could use shooting. Like that's obviously a team when you talked about that could really use shooting. Like the Miami Heat, like I would love to trade him to Miami, but like it's, you know, you already have Tyler Hero, but also I think Miami's in the first apron, so that just makes things even worse. Like I don't want to try to go through that whole crap. Yeah, their first apron. No, okay, hold on. I'll look into that actually. But yeah, it's rough. It's really rough for Zach's market. Next to the go run for Simmons. I guess that would also be the way, but you have Cam Thomas there, so it's just like, I guess you make the Cam Thomas Zach LaVine backcourt duo and see if you can outscore teams consistently. So yeah, it's rough. It's a rough situation right now. I know Milwaukee could get desperate, but I don't see that happening. So hold on. Like really quickly, let me just see if I can work this out because I don't know if it's possible. So I've always said like you get like Duncan Robinson, and I guess in this case you get Terry Rose, or you would get Tyler Hero. Again though, like why? Like this would work. Yeah, this is rough. I know Hero just recently had a really good game, so it's like why would you trade for Zach when Hero's putting up basically the same stats right now? Yeah, it's early. We'll see how long this lasts, but that's the problem, right? So I don't know. You put Jimmy Butler at point guard and you trade Terry Rozier, which I don't know how well he's playing honestly this year. Yeah, maybe this is it. So maybe this is how you do it. So instead of Tyler Hero, you get Terry Rozier instead, and the trade works out completely fine. Miami has picks. Sort of has picks. Yeah, not they don't really have picks. So I don't know. You get this. Ideally it's in the top 14, because that's the problem. It's not, you don't get this pick if it's out of the lottery, so like I don't really even want it. So cool. Here. Yeah, not great. Not a great option either. So yeah, it's a rough market for Zach. Money is it's obviously really hurting the options here, and a lot of teams already kind of have their shooting guard in place here. So yeah, you're just having a rough time trying to figure this all out. Yeah, I can I talk myself into a Pacers trade? I don't know if the money would work. That's the issue, but really quickly. Why would the Pacers do this? I don't know. I'm just asking questions here. Like, Pacers want to go all in or something. Pacers get desperate or something like that. I'm just throwing out ideas. I'm not sure about anything here. So it would be Obi Toppin trade the Bulls, Aaron Nesmith trade the Bulls. This is not enough. Yeah, you would have to. This, I guess it would be something like this. Would this work? I think this would cover it. So it'd be these four. Yeah, that's not ideal. So once again, Taylor Horton Tucker. Yeah. It's just limited, man. It's a lot of limited options. Let's see. Yeah, I don't know. Well, I mean, at this current moment in time, I don't see the Warriors making a trade for Zach. They seem to be fine without him. Now, I don't know how long it's going to last in terms of them being like contending level team. I don't think they're going to be contenders, but basically, though, what the trade for that would be is I have this drawn up in my head already, but basically it would be Levine over there. You would get Wiggins back. You take on D'Anthony Melton's contract, and that automatically is enough. Like the money works out here, and then the Warriors have their picks, so you immediately just get the pick here. So this would be the trade. This can't happen though because D'Anthony Melton. Oh wait, no, actually, I forgot the Warriors. Oh, Warriors are hard cap. That's right. Okay. So the Warriors can go on past 170. Okay. That's not an issue. Yeah, this works. 500, really? 500k? I lose my mind, bro. forgot how close the Warriors are to the hard cap, so that actually makes things even harder. Oh my god. Okay, hold on. Wiggins, Melton. Who do the Warriors have on the roster, bro? Like, I feel like there's so many teams that just like don't have like that minimum player on their roster that like I'm just like, yeah, I'm willing to like throw that in. I guess it would be Lindy Waters then. So this would be yeah, you would have to throw in Lindy Waters. So this would get him under the hard cap. Oh, oops, I accidentally stepped in. Whoops. But yeah, this would get him under the hard cap. This would work. Wait, really? Is 170.1? Really? Oh, I'm not. Am I just forgetting what the hard cap is this year? Oh, it is. Oh my god. Kill me, bro. Oh crap. Sorry, I keep hitting my back button of my mouse and I don't need to. Okay. So. Okay. Let's just throw in Moses Moody instead. This would have to be the deal. They'll get back. No, let's throw in Torrey Craig for them. Oh shit! Wait, did I? Oh yeah, this would work. Yeah, this would do it. I did it, guys. No, I don't know. Like it would have to be like formed around this, potentially a 3-team deal. It would be rough though. Sorry, I wasn't looking at chat. Who does Sixers have to match lineup, but they look collecting injuries? Yeah, 76ers wouldn't have the money. Bulls won't make any trades except maybe Craig or Carter, and they will lose their pick, which would be 16-8 in my draft. My hot take. That means they make the playoffs still, Rob. Like, I think right now what's the most likely thing that's gonna happen is that the Bulls don't make the playoffs, but then they don't keep their pick this year. That's gonna be so horrific, but like that's like I think the most likely outcome. So they're a play-in team, and then they don't make the playoffs, and they lose in the play-in. But you know, if the Bulls are actually in the playoffs though, and like they go out and show like, hey, yeah, like we're like a pretty decent team, like I won't be mad at losing the pick then. But I just don't know if we're gonna make the playoffs. Now that being said, I will say the East right now looks ridiculous. Like I can't believe right now that there's only now 3 teams over 500 in the East. Like that's insane to me. So if the Bucks and 76ers can't recover and the Bulls somehow just make it into like the top 5 or whatever, then sure, cool. I have my doubts about that, but the Bulls get 2 picks. That's going to be plenty at the moment. Honestly, history of Bulls, I mean, 1 pick fits their norm for value trade late. Yeah, I mean, again, I think I've been very clear about my concerns about the defensive issues on this roster. So, like, that's the reason I don't think they're going to make the playoffs. Oh my god. Sorry, hold on. I turn off my ad block on this one website just to use it. But, like, right now, this doesn't count tonight's game, but coming into tonight's game, the Bulls are giving up 120 points per game. Like, I don't think you're going to be a playoff team if you're going to be like this. Like, you can score as many points as you want, but you're not going to be a playoff team and win enough games to make the playoffs, in my opinion. Now, if the East is just that bad, then sure. Like, cool. You know, this is one of those weird years where, like, you could be under 500 and you can make the playoffs, I guess, as a 6 seed or something. But that's going to be rough. I think that's a rough go. I do agree though with Charles that like the most likely outcome is that the Bulls don't do anything because they just don't do anything. Yeah. And PJ and Zach, I've thought about it. I just don't. If you're the Nuggets, though, like, is it worth it? Because like, yeah, I have my. I don't think that's really worth it. Like, money wise, it would I think work. Like this, I think money wise this would work. and then I don't care. Throw in like Peyton Watson or something. Like it would just do this. Like, but if you're the Nuggets, like, is it worth it? I've seen some of Michael Porter Jr. this year. I haven't watched a lot of the Nuggets. I've watched some of their games, but yeah, I mean, yeah, for them to do this, it would be that like they don't trust Murray as like they wouldn't trust Murray as their like number 2 anymore, right? Which honestly, I don't know if that would like that's not like the worst decision in the world. Like they would basically be saying Zach is their number 2, and Murray's the number 3. It would put a lot of pressure on Murray to kind of be like a really good defensive guy, and he better be hitting all of his threes that like this year, which he really isn't at the moment. So that would kind of be the reason why they would do it. It's a rough though. Like, I don't think it would work. Hi Matt, Eberflus again. What's going on? Depends on the team. Looks like around December 12th, the week of schedule, end of year, may impact decisions. Yeah. Depends on how bad these good and bad teams shape out, or how it'll be a long term from 3rd seed to the 14th seed. It sucks, but at some point you're gonna lose that pick. Well, right. I just don't want to lose it this year. I would much rather lose it in 2026. But you know, maybe like I guess people have also told me that 2026 is gonna be good, but I don't really know. So if I can try to really get Cooper Flag or Ace Bailey, I would like to try. But even that being said, I just think this is gonna be a deeper draft class. So yeah. If only we really all knew with decent ball trades. I wish, man. I really wish we did. I've gone ahead and like made it a big thing though, like to understand all the trade rules and such. So like I do dive into that sort of stuff. But you're right though. It is all speculation at the end of the day. But like I do think that a lot of teams kind of do what we do. You know, we kind of see if the contracts match and who's under what. Biggest hope for not making the play-in is Pistons doing well. I mean, it would have to be the Pistons or the Hornets, right? Like, you're hoping that like Hornets and Pistons kind of like just suddenly shoot up, and maybe even the Nets, right? Just they're better than we thought, and then like the Bucks and the 76ers have to like shoot up too. So that would be the way. I mean, even my prediction, right? Like my prediction is that the Bulls should be the 11th seed. So I even said that they were going to be better than the Pistons, Hornets, Wizards, and Nets. Those 4 teams, and I still had them out of the play-in. That was though thinking that the Hawks, the Raptors, and all the other teams, right, that even though they're dealing with all the injuries right now, like the Bucks and 76ers would be better. Raptors have shown that they're probably just worse than the Bulls, because Scotty Barnes is out for a long time, and RJ Barrett's not off to a great start. Is Quickly also out? I don't remember, but I know Scotty Barnes is missing a lot of time, so there's that going on. Yeah, Quickly is also out. He's missed games. So like they're missing like their key pieces right now of trying just to play basketball. So no wonder why they're not playing great. Yeah, I have top 14 protection. Yeah. No, I think the Heat are not going to be trading anything. You're right. Yeah, man. I mean, I guess Rob, you like your prediction isn't like, at least when we're watching the standings right now, it isn't like that crazy of an idea that like, hey, the Bulls could just make the playoffs, right? Like, if everyone's gonna be under 500 right now, like, yeah, the Bulls can make the playoffs, sure. I don't think that's gonna continue for the rest of the season, but if the Cavs keep going undefeated and the Celtics still just beat down everybody, and then everybody in the East loses to all the teams in the West, then yeah, I guess the Bulls can make the playoffs. But yeah, I just don't see it happening. I think the 76ers are gonna be better. I don't think they're gonna be stuck at like where they are currently forever. The problem is that they're in a big hole. Like they're 7 games below 500 already. Milwaukee is the team that I'm actually more concerned about. And now they've sort of dug themselves out a little bit. Like they're not only 4 games below 500, but That I just don't trust that team. Like they look awful. They barely won against the Pistons tonight, and it's because Giannis scored like the first 20 points or whatever tonight. Or like it was like he scored like the first or 20 out of the first 22 points tonight. Like that was a legit box score. It was that Giannis had 20 and Brook Lopez had 2, and no one else scored for the Bucks at one point tonight. Like that, the fact that that's happening. I know Lillard's out because he's in concussion protocol, but it's like what the hell is happening? I don't think this Bucks team is like, even though I do think that they're aging, I don't think they should be this bad. But the fact that happened tonight and like we're still just seeing that the Bucks don't look really too great, is a very concerning sign. So yeah, I guess that's one person though, or it's one team though for the Bulls where it's like you don't have to really worry about that. But if you're wondering, by the way, this happened tonight. If you're wondering like what the hell actually did happen tonight, this happened. Yeah, at one point in the game, it was Giannis had 20 points. He also was 8 of 8 from the free throw line, by the way, which is really interesting. So that honestly, that might be even more shocking than seeing this. But Giannis had 20 points, Brook Lopez had 2. No one else had scored. And this is 8 players that played for the Bucks. Like, there is nothing going right now in Milwaukee. And even in this sort of, you know, like new for the new players or whatever, like that sort of stuff was just like, oh my god. There's nothing going well. And I'm aware again, Lillard's in concussion protocol. Like the new players don't look good, the old players don't look good. Yeah, it's bad. You're talking about the 7600 Bucks, but still the Bucks make the top 8 for sure. Balanced now. 76 not as much as balanced with injury and how Embiid is. Well, here's the thing. So I think with the 76ers, if Paul George is actually healthy, like, and they have Tyrese Maxey there, which I know that's also they're missing, right? Then that if they can like find just those two guys on the court together for a little run, I think they can balance it out. Like they'll be able to get like to 500 or maybe a little bit better. I'm aware with Embiid though, the situation with Embiid, like, he's not playing back-to-backs. Like I'm aware of that, but just having those both, just Paul George and Tyrese Maxey playing, that should be enough. Now, if you're gonna tell me Duncan, that's insane. They're never gonna be healthy. Fair, yeah. They may never be healthy. They may never actually be healthy. Like Paul George is aging. He's dealing with nicks and bruises. Embiid obviously is not going to be playing every game, and then Maxey, you know, injured, right? So, yeah, I understand. If you're going to tell me like they're just never going to be healthy, then yeah, I can see it. But if at some point Maxey and PG are able to like play for a while together, I do think that they can balance it out. But that's a big if. Bucks not contenders, but playoffs as playing team. I mean, I hope. Like, I honestly, I have very little faith right now in the Bucks. Like, they look so bad. Like, Giannis should give you some hope, especially in the Eastern Conference right now that has all like under 500 teams. But like, it honestly makes me feel worse right now about the fact that I don't feel good about them, and all of the teams in the East are like under 500, and I still feel bad about them. Like, that honestly should make me feel worse, and I think it does. So yeah, it's honestly insane. Yeah, this moment tonight happened. I'm just like, God Almighty, they really need Chris Middleton, and they need Chris Middleton, like all-star Chris Middleton. Like he can't come back and be like half Chris Middleton. They need all-star Chris Middleton badly, and they need him to actually be a good defender. I think Chris Middleton's defense has been overrated over the years, and he needs to come back and actually be like a really good defender. So that's good. That's a major question mark, and I don't think Chris Middleton's going to come back at anytime soon. So yeah, the Bucks are in absolute shambles right now, at least in my opinion. Hopefully though, yeah. Yeah, should I be the bad guy in games? I swear it's really cringe when I see it. He is sort of kind of leaning into that role. I personally don't like it. I've always been a Giannis fan. I know the Bulls and Bucks, you know, history and everything. I know Bulls fans hate the Bucks, but no, I've always been a Giannis fan, and yeah, I don't like the whole bad guy vibe either. Not necessarily a guy that's interested in that. Yeah. Here's the thing, though. Here's the juicy. If you want to know the juicy thing that I've also put into my head, that, you know, let's just say the Bucks for some reason, they have like a we gotta throw the white flag situation. If you're wondering, by the way, like, is this possible? I've thought this through. Like, there's a lot to be made up here, but now I'm aware, first and foremost, this is a lot, obviously, kind of going back. And the Bucks are sorry, the Bucks would have to waive a lot of guys, right? Sorry, hold on. I just wanna... Will this work? Okay, wait, hold on. Hard cap. I know this, but this is 500k, so I get that. Hold on. Sorry, hold on. It would be then. Will this work? Well, yeah, this would work. Yeah. So just so you guys know, okay. This is possible. If you're wondering, if the Warriors really want to make a last push with Steph Curry and Draymond Green at the helm, right? And they want to actually make the last push with Steph as the guy, right? The money works. This works. I don't know if you guys can see this right now, but this trade, like, there are multiple ways to do this trade. But this works. I've gone through this in my head many times, because if you're wondering why would the Bucks do this, like, if you're like, well, you're not getting anything special, like, you're getting Kuminga, cool, but like, why would they do this? Well, the reason why they would do this is because the Warriors literally own all their picks. So the Warriors could just throw in, you know, every other pick, every other year pick. So, like, you know, these are just 3 picks, right? They would do this instead. So, and I guess I have to double check this thing, but like, this is what they would be able to do. Like, this is a legit thing that they could do. And so if you're the Bucks, you're like, okay, well, then we basically own the Warriors draft for like the next 5 years or 7 years. So whenever the Warriors do actually hit their downfall, right, that it's very valuable. The picks become extremely valuable. So this is possible. So if the Bucks at some point they actually wave the white flag and like, oh my god, holy crap, we need to trade Lillard and Giannis ASAP, or else we're just going to be in hell for the next decade. Which the Milwaukee Bucks know what being in hell looks like. They've gone a season where they only won 17 games, so they know what hell is. But if I'm just saying, like, if this is the Bucks wave the white flag, then here we go. This will be basically the last ride. Steph, Giannis, Draymond, which I'd be interested to see how the Warriors work that out, because the Giannis and Draymond lineup is kind of like, it's a little sketchy due to lack of shooting, but I think that they'd still be able to work it out. I mean, hell, Draymond played with the center before, so I think it will work out. But I mean, if you really think about it, like, you are giving up Anthony Melton and Kuminga, who have been pretty decent players overall so far this season, so that would kind of sting. But if you're wondering how this team looks still after this trade, right? Like, the Warriors still have Gary Payton, they still have Buddy Hield, they still have Kevon Looney, they still have Moses Moody and Podziemski, they still have Trace Jackson Davis. Like, they would still have a good portion of their roster around. And then obviously they would have to go and fill out the rest of the roster, because they're trading 4 players away versus getting 1 player. So it's very doable. Like, it is a very doable trade. So if you're wondering why the Warriors really didn't go after Zach, or like, they tried to get Paul George, then they didn't work out, and they tried to get Lauri Markkanen, that didn't work out, this might be why. Because they can throw literally all their cards into this trade, and it would work. Money would work. As crazy as it sounds, suddenly now you would have a Steph Curry, Giannis Antetokounmpo duo, and if you want to throw in Draymond, you can say trio. So right when you think the Warriors are actually officially done, right when you think that they're finally gonna hit their downfall, they would be back again, in like the craziest way possible. If you're wondering, by the way, Mike Dunleavy, who is now the general manager for the Warriors, he has 1,000,000% looked at this. This is very possible. So yeah, I'm just saying. Yeah, it's Warriors, but speculation continues as horrifying potential. Yeah, I'd say. I think Giannis is just angry because Doc Rivers is terrible. Honestly, not you might be right, but wasn't the rumor that Giannis got Adrian Griffin fired though? So I don't really know. Let's pause the next thing possible to make it work. Yeah, I don't think Podziemski is like the next thing. I do like Podziemski. I think he's gonna become a really good player, but I don't think he's gonna be like the next thing. Podziemski really like it's so mind-boggling, but he really reminds me of Manu Ginobili. Like he really reminds me of him. So that being said, though, Manu obviously wasn't like a superstar. He was a superstar in his role, but he wasn't like a franchise cornerstone type guy. So yeah, I think the Warriors will, once Steph does retire, once Draymond is done, and obviously whenever Giannis would be done at this point, then like they'll be done. But yeah, unless somehow they were able to like keep Kuminga and like he becomes like the next thing. Unless actually Zach is a better fit for Warriors, mostly Zach can pass and run, which Curry likes. See, I also think that way, right? But if you told the Warriors like, okay, here are the two trades. You get Zach LaVine in this trade, and you get Giannis Antetokounmpo in this trade. I think because the Warriors are so good at finding, like, filling in the margins, right? They get the most out of like guys that are like, not getting paid a lot. Like they have found ways to fill in the gaps so effectively that it's just like, okay, I would trust this Warriors team to they would be like, okay, we're just taking Giannis, and then we'll fill in the margins. Like we'll actively be able to figure it out along the margins. With Zach, obviously, you would trade less, and you would have more to kind of work with after the trade. But I do think that the Warriors would much rather just have the superstar and just fill in the margins. Now, that being said, I think that if this was other teams, though, I don't know how they would look at this. Like, if there's other teams where it's like a heavy emphasis on threes, and they don't have like the fill in the margins capabilities like the Warriors do, then I do think it would be kind of up in the air. And obviously, if the team really needed shooting, then you're going to go get Zach LaVine instead of Giannis Antetokounmpo. But because it's the Warriors and they've done this for so long and they're so good at filling in the margins that they would just pick Giannis. And I think Coach Kerr, as much as people disrespect Coach Kerr and on Twitter and outside of the NBA space, and when I mean that, I mean outside the players and the NBA guys, but all the fans disrespect Kerr. I think if Giannis is in the Kerr system, you're gonna see some really, really fun stuff, especially just like having Curry come off an off-ball screen from Giannis. Like that sort of stuff is very much up Kerr's arsenal, and I think he'd find a way to really get the most out of both these guys if they were able to do so. I know Curry has taken a lot of heat recently, but I understand it's because of the Olympics thing with Tatum, but at the end of the day, he won the gold. And this guy has 4 rings as a coach. So I think you should trust him at the end of the day. I trust Steve Kerr. Like, I know a lot of people are heavily critical of him, but I trust Steve Kerr. And so even within the flowy offense, like Giannis would have to change his game a lot. I think they would still find a way to really have a really good offense with them, even with the lack of spacing, by the way, because this would be a team that would lack some spacing. but the Warriors have been able to have teams like this where they don't have like spacing at the 4 or 5, and they found a way to work it out. So I think they'll be able to figure out ways to work this out. So Ben was always on the Warriors radar once upon a time. Fairly sure Ben is still in the green. Both have the same moving screen styles. Warriors always looking over the last couple of years. So yeah, Ben Simmons is pretty much like Draymond Green, like in terms of everything, of like what they actually bring to the table. I do think Draymond is the better defender, just because of everything he's done. But in terms of what they do offensively, yeah, it's similar. I think obviously though for the Warriors, like you're looking at that, you're just like, well, we'll just keep Draymond for now. But I guess if there is one team that could revive Ben's career, it would be that team. But the problem is then though, like this is like, I'm just assuming that at this point like Curry and Green are done. Like, is Ben just out of the league at that point? Like, I don't know. I'd have a lot of questions overall. Yeah, I honestly, I don't know how the Warriors are going to last after the Curry and Draymond era, but it's going to be interesting to look at, because I kind of have a feeling, that even after Steph is done, the Warriors are going to still be out here trying to like actually win, because they've really never have tanked in like their time. Like I know that they tanked for James Wiseman, and that didn't work out, and they still have figured out a way to get a championship after that. So like I'm aware that they did that. I'm just saying that like they really have not tanked like really in their careers, you know, or in their franchise's career. So it's like I just don't know if they're ever going to do it. So like whenever Steph does retire, which I don't know when he's going to. The fact that Steph Curry is 36 and still doing what he's doing is insane. Because everyone wants to always just talk about what LeBron does and everything, and you know, deservedly so. But we're talking about a small guard that is 36 years old. He'll soon be 37 this year, and he's still putting up these sort of numbers, which in his standards is not good enough for some people. But like I it's just insane to me that he's still this good at 36 years old as a small guard. So I don't know when he's going to slow down. I really don't. Like I have major questions of when he will slow down. That's going to be something that I'm going to be looking at, is when will he actually slow down. But when he does slow down though, oh boy, it's going to be a interesting time. And then when he does actually retire, like I don't know what the Warriors do. You would think that they would actually, you know, reset, but it's hard. It's hard for teams to reset, you know. I'm gonna guess though that Curry will also be out whenever these guys are done. So like you'll have the trio of Kerr, Green, and Curry all leaving into the sunset together. But you know, I guess you wish that Klay Thompson was also with that, but you know, he's moving on to other things. But yeah, I don't know. That'll be interesting to watch. What's funny to me though is that again, we'll see how this works out, because it's early in the year. But right now, I think Klay Thompson went to the Mavericks thinking, hey, this is my last chance to go and get another ring here, maybe multiple, because with the Warriors it just wasn't going to happen. Right now though, the Mavericks are in 12th and the Warriors are in 2nd. Again, I don't know how long that's going to last. I do think the Warriors have had an easier schedule to start the season, but suddenly it's looking kind of bad for Klay, because now all of a sudden you're like, well, if the Mavericks can't find their shit together, or get their shit together, which I think they will, but if, let's just say the Mavericks can't get their shit together, where you're just like, yeah, the chemistry isn't working. Like Kyrie and Luka worked last year, but it's not working with Klay added into the mix. Like, if that happens for Klay, and he left the Warriors to then have like a legit chance of actually like winning the championship this year, but like and he left the Warriors for the Mavericks, and they just don't win in his time there. That would be insane. Kind of like him, but Curry did talk about one spot where his dad did, we're playing where his dad did before retiring, likely not sticking, but was another interesting last year where he retires a Warrior though. So you're thinking of Charlotte. Del Curry played with the Del Curry would play with the Toronto Raptors, but he also played for Charlotte, which I think he's kind of mostly known for being in Charlotte. So you can see here Charlotte Hornets. This is obviously why Steph is really, is very fond of the Charlotte areas, because he was, pretty much there for his childhood. So yeah, he played for the Hornets. He was very good. He was very good with Charlotte. Yeah, that would be the reason why Steph would go to Charlotte and play there. But I just don't think it's just not gonna happen now. I think earlier in Steph's career maybe, but now, I mean, the Warriors gonna be paying him so much money that it's just, there's no reason to. I think he just retires as a Warrior and enjoys his time with all that money. When with at least right now he'd have 4 rings. He could have a 5th when he does retire, which would be insane. Yeah. As a golfer, yeah, that would also be very Steph, is that he's just a golfer from here on out. Yeah. I've never understood why NBA players love golf so much. Like Zach LaVine's also a golfer. I don't get it. I can't stand golf. But yet all these NBA players, Michael Jordan, Charles Barkley, who has that pitch in his swing, that I don't get it. I don't know why, but I guess it's just a completely different pace to the game that they usually play. Okay, y'all. So, I do need to go ahead and I need to go to sleep because holy crap, I've had a long week. But, so, Bulls barely got the win tonight. So, it was close, but they barely got the win tonight. So, I did say 50-50. It was pretty much 50-50 tonight. So, nice win by the Bulls overall. All right, Bulls play the Cavaliers on Friday. So, it is now a second time for the Bulls to face the Cavaliers. Now, this time, though, it's in Cleveland. Cavaliers are now 13-0 as they've won against who tonight? I don't remember who they faced tonight. 76ers. So the Cavs beat the 76ers. Jared McCain, by the way, is playing great. So that happened. Also, Wembanyama had a 50-pointer, so that happened. Giannis had a 59-pointer. So we're kind of getting to that point in the year where we're going to see some of these higher scoring, games from players. Jordan Poole scored 42. Yeah. Go watch some of the highlights from all these games. This could be some fun stuff to look at. But Cavaliers now are still they've won 13 now in a row, so they're still undefeated. This is crazy. I did not know there's only one game tomorrow night. That's insane. Okay. A lot of games on Friday, and the Bulls are one of them. So it'll be 6:30 p.m. Central Time. It is also the first game for the Bulls in terms of their NBA Cup or the in-season tournament game. So we're gonna be looking at that. I don't know what the Cavs course is gonna look like, but I hope it doesn't burn my eyes because I hate some of these NBA in-season tournament courts. I think they're stupid. I think the Bulls one this year looks a lot better from what I've seen from the graphics or from the picture that they sent out from it about it. But some of them, man, they like the Philadelphia 76ers court and in-season tournament, it kills my eyes. I hate it. So ideally the Cavs don't have one that is absolutely just burning my eyes as I watch the game. Yeah, so you're probably gonna guess that I don't think the Bulls are gonna win this one because the Cavs just seem like they're just so legit this year. So yeah, I don't know. If you're wondering, because like I have had that sort of curse this year. When Zach was out, I predicted they would lose all 3 of those games, and they lost all 3. So, I guess they did. No, actually, no. I predicted that they would win against Utah, but I also did say that would be the game that they would lose. Just because they're the Bulls. So I guess that was the one game that was incorrect. But but I was right about the Minnesota and the Dallas game. So yeah, the curse thing is sort of still on because I did say that the Bulls should lose against the Knicks, but I did also say 50-50, which kind of ended up being that way. But I still will say that that was another L tonight for me. So yeah, I say the Bulls lose this one. I think unless suddenly the Cavaliers have an injury or something, they should probably win this one and in-season tournament too. So I guess actually because it is an in-season tournament, it's gonna favor the Bulls more because just weird things could happen. But I expect the right team to win because one's undefeated, and they seem to be on their way to a 20-0 start because that's how good they are. So yeah, look out for that. 6:30 p.m. Central Time again. So at this moment, I should be streaming on Friday. So yeah, expect stream on Friday after the game. I had to think about that for a second. Okay, cool. Yeah, just making sure I have everything in my head correct. 10 bet Bulls beat Cavs as it's due. Yeah, I guess it is technically due, but they got past the cursed number tonight though, or I guess they are now on the cursed number. So maybe it is the time for the Cavs to lose because they're at 13 now. But I don't know. I feel like now that they've gone to 13, it's just like, yeah. We'll see how long it lasts, honestly. I mean, Cavs to lose. Okay, cool. Yeah, go ahead. We'll see how big the curse is, but yeah, I don't have faith. Because I did also say the Cavs should win against the Bulls, when Zach did play, and Zach played well, but the Bulls still lost. So yeah, I don't know. It might not work against the undefeated team. All right. So expect to stream then. So let's say thank you to everybody who checked in on the stream tonight. We had over 110 people checking on the stream. Thank you to everyone who did check in. If you have not already, hit the like button. The stream helps me out a ton. Please hit that like button. Thank you for all for your support. It's been a lot of fun with these streams. All right, checking the time here. Also, if you have not heard, Linkin Park is releasing an album on Friday. So go check that out if you're a Linkin Park fan. I am very happy with how they've sounded, so we're gonna look out for that. And yeah, I guess I'll see you guys on Friday here to see if the Bulls can beat the undefeated Cavaliers in the in-season tournament game, because that'll be interesting to watch in this one. I appreciate everything for tonight. I'll see you on Friday. Peace out.